Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Half a Clue Movie Review.
Feels like we're just here.
The show where we are eternally grateful for your support.
So grateful.
These last few months have been quite the ride.
Just
And
want to ride.
I think without your support, we'd feel like nomadic on the internet, perhaps.
From place to place.
But you know what? Instead, we're just going to feel like songs my brother taught me. Hi, welcome to Half a Clue. We're talking about Chloe Zao. Those were all in movies. Did you get it? You get my joke?
That was a good one.
fucking laughing yet?
It completely broke logic, and that was a complete Blake way.
Laugh!
Okay, so here we are with Blake.
Yes.
I'm the host,
Ron.
Ron Phillip, I think.
Yes. What's it called? Blake, Ron, Philip, Miles, and Jason couldn't come here today, but just what's it called today? We
Ron, Philip,
tight
Blake?
knit.
We're so knit today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knitting.
Incredibly.
We're talking about
balls.
Chloe Zao.
All right. So Chloe Zao is what's it called?
Up and comer.
Well, not even now. She's like firmly established.
Pretty well established.
Yeah, so Chloe Zhao is a director that's been kind of steamrolling through Hollywood right now with, what's it called? Ever since she was brought on the scene with Songs My Brothers Taught Me, which premiered at Cannes and the Sundance Film Festival.
Cannes.
And then, actually, are you sure? Because
I don't fucking know, but I know, but you're always correcting people's pronunciations.
I thought about it. I was like listening to 50 different pronunciations.
Yeah.
And then like I literally did counts, and then 60 of like 38 of them said con, and the
others say
cans. So I'm gonna go with con, I guess, just based on math, like the results. So
I will say cans because that's just how I've heard it pronounced.
and cans just sounds so American, so I just don't believe it.
Yeah,
Is that?
cans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cannes Film Festival.
Anyway,
it matters to me.
She's done good.
Yeah, but then but
She's made some
her breakout
movies.
film, that breakout indie film, was The Writer, and that kind of brought Hollywood's eyeballs toward her, and gave her the clout to attract Frances McDormand and the money and Foxlight Search Pictures to make Nomadland,
Which was actually our first episode. Fun fact. Never to be released.
on our Patreon
That
episode,
and
wherever you make one.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you really want that episode, let us know.
Let us know. We'll make a Patreon
You'll hear
just for
about
us
just
to
how
release
much
that episode.
you'll get to hear about just how much I fucking hate Tenet with every ounce of my being.
We'll
Can Christopher Nolan retire already?
And
Oh my God.
and now to celebrate her, award-winning clout directors do is to make a blockbuster film to pay the bills. Eternals.
Which is sad, but whatever.
I don't think it's that sad.
I don't know. Every time an indie director or like a director that makes really, really interesting movies that are in their own voice and style eventually gets swapped up for a superhero movie, like, yeah, it's cool, and I'm glad that they're, getting paid really well for it, and that it'll bring further, business to them, you could say. But I don't know. Life is short, and I feel like now it's going to be another 2 years before I see an actual movie by them.
Yeah, I guess so. But I feel like it's just one of those
Well,
things.
I don't think you would get the next movie from them without
I
that
know.
blockbuster.
Yeah, it's a business, ultimately. It's the filmmaking,
Yeah.
industry.
It's not show friends, it's show business.
Yeah, and it's like, these directors, like, when they make a big movie like Eternals, it draws more attention to them. It draws eyes and just more, like, people will want to know who directed this. This is Chloe Zhao. Let's see some of her other stuff if you liked it, and then yada yada.
You think the Marvel cloud's gonna like songs my brother taught me?
No,
You never know.
I'm
Who
serious.
knows?
That's the only reason why. Like, if you see Eternals, those films got an uptick on like rentals and purchases because they're like Chloe Zhao.
That's
Occasionally.
great.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
See,
awesome.
that's
Hey,
good.
we
Yeah.
were talking about this briefly before I forgot to hit record, and we were talking about directors who had big name directors who have had to basically not exactly sell out, but kind of sell out in a way to, like, to continue their own kind of movies. We talked about Nolan doing the Dark Knight trilogy and other people, and like one director that hasn't done that, Quentin Tarantino.
True.
He's one of the big names
Oh.
who's just somehow just been able to survive just working
Yeah,
off of
well,
his
I guess
original ideas.
Tarantino and what's it called? Tarantino and they're from like the '90s, basically the '90s indie generation.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and then those ones have like Steven Soderbergh. Well, like, even though I don't really count. I guess Ocean's. No, I don't really count Ocean's 13.
I mean, that was a
Lost it.
remake, technically.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Or,
then,
it's a
then
sequel
we would
to-
put like Scorsese also.
Can we also
Yeah,
say,
right.
even
Oh,
though
Scorsese, yeah.
we don't have audio proof of it because Ron forgot to record, but Philip completely forgot about the Dark Knight saga.
Yeah, I
He was
did.
trying to
Yeah.
claim Nolan's never done like a comic book thing, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking
Exactly.
about?"
Yeah, I did. And then I think it was just like suppressing my memory because I just wanted to believe Nolan was, like original OG boy, and then suddenly I realized, is that my Nolan fanboy like purposely blocked that part of his filmography? But
Yeah.
and now I'm like really fucking sad. Even though I love those films, but it made me sad.
Yeah. Isn't Steven Soderbergh? Isn't he doing like a fuck? I was
Dude,
trying
Steven Soderbergh is going so art house.
He's doing Blue Beetle. Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I would love to see a Steven Soderbergh fucking comic book film.
Yeah,
Dude,
I think
it'd be so weird, off kilter. He'll shoot it on an iPhone.
I think once we get to Eternals, I want to talk about that of like basically like auteur directors kind of tackling superhero.
Just not a Marvel film though.
Yeah, and we'll get to it, but let's continue. Let's go.
All right. So, as we talked about Chloe Zhao, yeah, I know. Zhao, 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 Chloe Zhao, Zhao, Zhao. Okay. So, the films we'll be discussing today will be basically her entire filmography. Songs My Brothers Taught Me, The Writer, Nomadland. But then the meat of our conversation will be focused on The Eternals. The meat with salt and pepper. Okay, so a brief background on Chloe Zhao. She was born in Beijing, China. Her parents, her dad was Zhao Yuji, who was an executive at Shugang Group, and he's basically he owned one of the country's biggest steel companies. So they're from a family of wealth, and then went to do real estate development, equity. And what do people do? What do Chinese businessmen do when they have a lot of money? They get part of the Panama paper scandal. Yeah, and then, so that's things like who else?
Interesting.
I think like Jackie Chan is also part of that.
Yeah, I remember
Panama
Jackie
paper.
getting his financials in trouble.
Yeah, but he's still fine. He's rich. I don't feel sad for him.
Yeah, he's China's like golden boy, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, and even Zhao's dad, and Zhao's mom was a hospital worker, and also was part of the People's Liberation Army performance troupe. But parents eventually separated, and her dad married to Song Dandan, who's a famous Chinese comedian or comic actress. As for education, once again from a family of wealth, so she kind of went all over the place. She was learning English. They were like, we don't want you to study in China. Let's go to a different country. So she studied in the UK in Brandon College at 15. Then went to LA completely by herself. I doubt, probably got money from parents. But and then And then studied political minor in Massachusetts, and then went back to studied at NYU in the film program with Spike Lee as a professor. What's it called?
Oh.
Yeah. So like I said, like she's just in the making, some art prodigy.
Wow.
Okay.
Spike Lee, the director behind the channel Spike TV. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he famously directed the remake of Old Boy.
Oh yes, of course.
let's not mention
One of
that
his most seminal works.
That's not much. I actually do love Spike Lee. But yeah, and then probably after that, from what I could tell in interviews, a lot of soul searching, just interviewing a lot of different cultures. She was really into a lot of old westerns, a lot of Native American cultures, cowboys and Indians. So she, went to different Indian reservations, Native American reservations, and went to Pine Ridge and was fascinated from the stories that she heard from the locals there. That she made her first debut, which was Songs My Brothers Taught Me, but still in that area. Not too long after, she directed The Writer, which is very loosely based on the real life story of the main actor. Yeah. So and then it's basically like the actor's dad is played by the actor's dad. The actor's sister is played by the actor's sister.
Oh, wow.
And then actually pretty much everybody plays themselves in that film.
Wow.
It's just like a weird
Just kind of a
reinterpretation
staple
of
of her
this thing.
stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that until the credits, and I was just like, oh, it's like, well, that makes sense. Like, it really, they felt like such naturalistic performances.
Yeah.
Sorry, like burp. But they felt like such natural performances that like it was, it made sense.
Yeah. And apparently the scar on his head is like his actual just scar.
Yikes.
Yeah. So it's just like, pretty fucked up shit. And that won the Art Cinema Award at the Cannes Film Festival and got a bunch of Indie Spirit Awards. But really the film that just cemented her, I mean, she already got Eternals by this point, or she was in discussion to get Eternals because apparently she has such a fantastic pitch of what she wants in a superhero film, which I'm curious what that pitch was when we get into Eternals.
Yeah.
That they were like, okay, apparently because she was going to pitch for DC, right? and then
Makes sense.
yeah, like a new which rumors was it was gonna be like a New Gods movie.
Oh,
And I would have been much more interested in seeing that.
That makes, again, so much sense. Both Jack Kirby creations. I mean, we'll get into it when we talk about Eternals, but yeah, that tracks.
But Kevin Feige's like, I like her shit. I don't want, I guess she doesn't want DC to get that vision or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin Feige was, basically was like so enamored with Chloe Zhao and her vision that pretty much he was like, I'm not gonna let you go to another studio. You're gonna go to Marvel. You're mine. Yeah. So that's what happened, and then
Vision?
he just backed up a dump truck full of money. It was just like here you go.
Her vision, like Paul Bettany.
And it paid, yeah, exactly, and it paid off because as
because he plays Vision.
And then it pays off because Nomadland, before Eternals came out, ended up winning, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best
Very critically
Actress.
acclaimed.
Yes, and it was
also, it was our first episode, so I'm a pretty big deal.
Yeah, okay, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and also won the
prestige.
the Golden Lion Award at the
You're
Venice
welcome.
Film Festival, which I think is actually probably even bigger than the Best Picture. That was actually really fucking hard to do. But yeah, and also the first Asian American, not Asian American, she's just Asian, first Asian female director or female director of Asian descent to ever win. The second female director to ever win in the Oscars in like 90 plus years. So, like I said, pretty good, pretty historic. And also, she fucking got Frances McDormand her third Best Actress nomination. She's like...
Yeah.
I mean, not nomination, win.
Fantastic, too. She's a great actress.
Yeah, she's a goat. She might even win her fourth one with the tragedy Macbeth coming out. With the Coens and shit.
Cohen.
Yeah, this time it's just
Singular.
Cohen. Joel Cohen.
Who's she playing in that?
She's playing Lady Macbeth.
Really?
Denzel Washington's playing Macbeth.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I've kind of stayed away from looking into it at all. I'm already gonna watch it, so I'm just yeah. But that's okay.
I've been also avoiding trailers and spots, and on my iPhone they're like, I'm like, why are you? No.
I've seen a couple stills, and it looks so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch it.
So yeah, she's a goat. Yeah, she honestly, I think even more than Meryl Streep, in terms of the wins and stuff like that.
God, aren't you so sick of Shakespeare adaptations? It's like, come on, just come up with something original for me.
I got a roll from her as burn after reading.
And it's funny that it's one of the most original directors or directors that with one of the most intriguing idiosyncratic films is doing a Shakespeare adaptation.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's cool.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into again when we talk about Eternals and comic book filmmaking and stuff. But one of the great arguments I heard when people were talking about why comic book films why they have the rightful place in media and everything, and it's a lot of it does go back to Shakespeare because people say oh, just comic book films are just media for the masses and just whatever, and it's just kind of just bland storytelling, and it's Shakespeare was essentially that when it first came out, it was just meant for the common folks, just to just to
he was a populist
enjoy.
He was a populist artist.
Yeah, people were like, oh, why aren't you watching Chaucer or something, and it's
Shakespeare was pretty basic for his time.
Yeah, and
he
it's
wasn't considered to be the greatest writer of all time in his time.
Well, okay, no, that's not fair. He still get a lot of clout when he did come out, so that's not.
He was acclaimed, and he became super famous and everything. But again, his stuff was veered for for everyone, for any audience to be able to, and I think that obviously resonates so much because even to this day we're still getting how many Macbeth adaptations have there been up to this point, but whatever, that's a conversation for later. Sorry.
Exactly. In our upcoming Shakespeare adaptation per Miles' request for 2022.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
What's it called? Throne of Blood and Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah.
What's it called? Yeah, I was like,
who came out with that most recent Macbeth adaptation with Michael Fassbender?
That was Justin Kurzel, I think. He directed the Assassin's Creed one. That's why I was so excited.
Oh yeah,
I was so excited for Assassin's Creed because the guy, he made other stuff that was pretty just dark and edgy and shit. And then I watched Macbeth. Well, not my favorite adaptation, but not a bad one.
Yeah. Again, visually striking. I mean, I feel like it's surprisingly relevant to this film.
Sean Harris was Macduff, right? I remember that one. Yeah.
It's just great visuals, great acting, and then Marion Cotillard. But it was just the overall film. It just didn't really work that much for me. But whatever.
I never saw it.
It's worth a watch.
Oh yeah, no, definitely at least once.
I mean, but if we're gonna talk about my favorite
We'll
one.
save that.
Yeah, throw
Yeah.
in blood.
Macbeth.
Yes. All right. So, well, let's get into what's it called. Like the films she directed, Songs My Brother Taught Me, the writer, Nomadland, and Eternals. So before we get into Eternals, let's talk about some of the films leading up to how she made her Marvel MCU debut. The first one on the list was Songs My Brother Taught Me. I saw this one, like, it's my watch order for her films. Actually, even before I say this, what is everyone's familiarity with Chloe Zhao films before this episode?
Prior to watching all of them again, I had seen Nomadland in theaters and Eternals. So for the first time this week, I watched both The Writer and Songs My Brother Taught Me.
Yeah, I saw Nomadland first. That was an interesting. I wish I'd seen it in the theaters, honestly, but that was like, I think that was like during COVID times, right? I think
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
a little tough to see it at the
Well,
time.
I mean, it
when
was at the time where
premiered.
theaters
You
were
could- yeah, you could
reopening,
see it.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, you could see it, but it was like more questionable of how comfortable you felt about it or whatever. Which I don't know. Now I'm like, I don't really give a shit. I'll go watch it in the theater.
Yeah.
But like back then, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was
also
still in an iffy time for sure.
and I was working at Amazon at the time, and it was really funny because
Right. Tell the story.
yeah, like I was watching it in the break room, and then as the movie like kind of starts off in like the first 10 minutes, it's in the very same break room where they shot that movie, and I was like, well, what the fuck? And then like my supervisor was one of the guys like that she's having lunch with, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, so yeah, very very funny. But no, I liked it. And then I saw The Writer for the first time this week, and The Eternals. I did not see Songs My Brother Taught Me. I apologize, but yeah.
Yeah, it's I the first time I saw her was I think it was like when The Writer came out. Like I honestly had no interest because the poster looked absolute shitty.
It's
It
a
was-
terrible
It's
poster.
a
Yeah, it
terrible.
is.
To be fair, for indie, except Songs My Brother Taught Me actually has a pretty cool
When
poster.
I was looking it up on Vudu, I was like, this one? I was like, oh man. I was like, what a terrible poster.
It does. It's just boring.
It doesn't do the
mostly.
movie justice. Yeah, it's
No.
like it's a very generic
What's
poster.
the Songs My Brother Taught Me poster?
It has what's it called? It has Jay Sean, and then it has like it's like artistic with like different layers on top of layers, and it has like the mountains like on her face. And then-
what a step down.
And I'm just like, well, I mean, that was like a much lower budget film than The Writer, right? I was like, what happened to the marketing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I especially The Writer
I
has
don't know.
so
Maybe
much
they thought that
naturalistic.
just boring people would see it and go, "Oh, cowboy."
Well, it worked. It made, I think, the Songs My Brother Tommy made $162,000, and The Writer made 4.5.
Nice.
So that's a big jump.
Yeah.
So people like generic posters. You know, like I said, don't blame
Have you seen the
the
Shang-Chi
poster maker.
poster? It's so fucking boring.
Have you seen the Dune poster? All of them are so boring, which
Yeah,
is just
it's
so
annoying.
fucking criminal because of
I-
how visually striking the film
I
is.
fucking
Ugh.
hate movie posters most of the time because
Yeah.
they're all just the same thing. It's just the main character standing dead center.
Trust me, movie poster
Ugh.
makers hate movie posters just as much.
No,
as you
I
guys.
know. I feel so bad for them. Like, really, in the film industry, I mean, there's plenty of people you could feel bad for, but like movie posters, people in particular, I feel so shitty for because it's like you know that they're what they're capable of.
Look
We've
behind
seen.
you. Look at that fucking poster I have for Only God Forgives. Look how cool that shit is.
Yeah, it's a
And look at how much
fantastic
money
poster.
that movie
My
made.
BoJack poster.
Yeah, it's like they're God. Like I've collected a shitload of posters. I've had like I love movie posters when they're done right. And
You
it's
know
just
who always
like,
has a good movie poster? Sorry, we can.
I know. Yeah,
no,
we
go on,
should.
go on, that's fine.
Really good.
No, that's
Do you know
fine,
who
that's
always has really fucking good movie posters? Is Yorgos Lanthimos. His
Oh,
posters
yes.
are
Oh,
always
yeah, yeah.
super dope.
So good. I have
yeah.
the
A
favorite.
Special shout
favorite
out
was
to
good, yeah.
Yeah, that poster.
Special shout out to it's not the main one, but I did see it in theaters. Killing of a Sacred Deer poster. Not the main one with the
with
guy
the-
from this movie, but the one where it's what's his name? What's the main guy's name? That movie's The
What do you mean,
Lobster?
Barry Keoghan?
No,
Oh no,
fucking-
Lobster Care, Colin Farrell.
Colin
So I'm
Farrell,
saying not the Barry Keoghan poster where it's like his face upside down, but the one with Colin Farrell
In
like
the
staring
hospital
at the,
bed?
Yeah,
And
dude,
with, like, what's
that is
called-
like one of my
'Cause
favorite modern day.
That one has
posters.
so much headspace in that
Yeah.
film. Which
Yeah.
I do love the other Killing of a Sacred Deer poster though
With
with,
the
the
Barry
Brian
Keoghan's
Keoghan.
head.
Yeah, and like it's the silhouetted colors of like what are their names? We just said them right now.
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Killing of a Sacred Deer. Well, I can't remember the names right now. But Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, and then also the kid from God of War.
Yeah,
Oh, it's Sonny Soljic, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
but
there.
like they're like draped over his face, and it just gives like such an
Yeah, it's-
eerie and weird
His
feeling.
posters-
Oh, so good.
Please, can we get more posters like this? I'm so tired of these boring fucking
See,
posters.
this, even though I like the favorite poster, it's probably the safest poster
Yeah, it
out of
is.
all the one, but it makes
Yeah.
the most money. It made the most money. As I said, people, like I said, do not blame. If you guys really want studios to change, they're really just puppets to money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So just ass. Just,
This is money. This shit.
We gotta do a Yorgos episode.
That's
one
my
of these
Jodorowsky
days.
impersonation.
he's coming. He's shooting a film right now.
Oh,
so
thank God. It's been
what's
too
called?
long already.
Excited. He'll eventually do a DC film. I know. Yeah.
Anyway,
What's it
alright,
called?
so let's go back
okay,
into the Chloe
So the
here.
songs my brothers taught me is a quick synopsis. It's about Johnny Winters, played by John. Ready? And
sounds like a
Jay
porn
Sean.
star name.
Jay Sean Winters, played by Jay Sean. John.
Johnny
What's it
Winters
called?
and Johnny Mountain are going to team up for
Exactly. So basically, brothers and a brother and sister who lives in like the Pine Ridge Indian reservation. That they're living there in poverty, and the what's it called, Johnny's like trying to make money by selling alcohol from he obtains from Bills or other places, but they're all brought together by their other like 25 other half siblings or so. When they find out their paternal dad, Carl Winters, dies in a fire.
Carl Winters.
So he literally meets like 20 plus other siblings, and they
Wow.
all talk and discuss about like their dad's life and like their life on the reservation, and some of their attempts to escape on it, or some of them actually embracing the life on the reservation. And Johnny's kind of on the fence, and he has an internal conflict about whether to stay and embrace the reservation life and be with his family and his troubled mother to Lisa Winters, played by Irene Better, who was great in Smoke Signals. Watch that. It's another great film about the Native American culture.
Do it.
Because he has an opportunity to go to LA with his girlfriend Aurelia, and drive with his car, which is like emblematic of his freedom. But the movie's very it's a Terrence Malick homage film. It's a mix of Wong Kar-wai, but mostly Terrence Malick. Especially his like New World and Emmanuel Lubezki type of things, with a lot of naturalistic white shots, a lot of natural lighting, using non-actors. That one's more probably Lynn Ramsey with like Foxcatcher and shit. But yeah, this is basically like her version of a like her. It's like a Tarantino film, but her influences aren't like 60s pulp, 70s pulp.
Yeah.
But it's like what's it called? Naturalistic. Art house directors.
Foxcatcher is also great. Watch that one.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not the same Foxcatcher I'm talking.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it might be. Or actually, I might be fucking up on the name, but yeah, it's a Lynn
Okay.
Ramsey film. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What's it called? For Blake who's seen it? Did you watch this before The Writer?
No, I actually watched it after.
Okay. So what did you think?
I liked it. It's since we've been doing I've been on a Chloe Zao binge, and this is actually the last one I watched. It's very Chloe Zao. It's got all of her kind of trademarks.
It's very raw.
Yeah, which is kind of her trademark, actually. I mean, she has a lot of recurring themes that we'll talk about and recurring filmmaking. But yeah, a lot of her movies are very raw. I like it. It's visually pretty appealing. There was a lot of shots in it that I really liked. I liked the use of music. I liked all the characters. I found it, it's generally just a really engaging movie. It's not my favorite of the four that I saw, but I did like it a lot, and it definitely is going to get a rewatch eventually.
Yeah, I definitely recommend to checking it out. If you like The Writer, I at least for me, it's just always like
if you like The Writer, you'll like it.
Yeah, it's always just like interesting to see a filmmaker's first film, right? Like, and then like where they were at their most raw, most uninhibited, because this movie didn't have a big budget. But you see a lot of like her current staples with just like it's handheld Steadicam work, naturalistic lighting.
I wanted to mention two things really quick from it.
What?
One, did you find the aspect ratio to be a weird choice? To be just the full...
Oh, you mean for Songs My Brother Taught Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's it called? I don't know if it was for budget limitations or for artistic choice or both.
Because on one end, I get it because it actually kind of fits her a lot because she's really into those giant landscape shots and those wide shots. She's very into like shooting nature and stuff. So I mean, it works, but I don't know what it is. Whenever they have the full screen like aspect ratio, I always kind of like, I don't know. There's something about it that always kind of off-puts me. But like I said, that if there was one director, I guess it fits. It's her because she's so into shooting. And I do have to give one special shout out to One Shot just because I liked it so fucking much. It's the shot of like the mother, but you see the Jay-Sean like the background like crying. It's funny. It's not even like one of her trademarks is a shot like that. Like that's not even like what she really does. But like I don't know. That was just a really good shot.
There are some good shots like that. It's like what's it called? That one's what's it called? I mean, surprisingly enough, like always shooting on wide. I guess she almost exclusively shoots on wide angle lenses on these ones. I mean, though there are some telephoto shit that she does for close-ups, but like another director, then what's it called Every Frame Painting does a fantastic video on this. One it's a directing duo that actually does wide angle lens exclusively for everything. It's the Coen brothers.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and then
especially for like their shot reverse shots, right?
Yeah, and it's it has a very interesting, like most people would just use, like most people shoot on like 75 up or telephoto to kind of compress the image and get real close on the actor's face, but like directors like this or Coen brothers, they purposely shoot on wide, like 35 millimeter up, and you see that extra like eye space or room, and you get an environment because like mix of the environment and the actor, and it creates like some people do where like the environment traps the actor, and they're and that's like a thematic thing going on where it's like no matter what they do, that you can never have a shot with them without the environment,
Yeah, like The Favorite, we're talking about Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that whole film is just about how like the environment is basically like a prison for these characters. And he uses exclusively ultra wide angle lenses for that film, like practically fisheye at certain points. But
no, it is a couple times they do the fisheye, and actually, I thought that was going a little too far, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, yeah, I guess
we'll talk about Yorgos.
Yeah, I think it fits, but whatever. But okay, so it's yeah, and then I think, and it's cool, like you have a style. I mean, I think what's called. I mean, there's people on the opposite end. The Safdie brothers, they exclusively shoot on sometimes they exclusively shoot on telephoto for some.
But of course, that works for what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of backed off a bit with Uncut Gems, and they not as close all the time. But
thank God.
Have you seen Heaven Knows What?
Yeah, a long time ago when it came out.
Not a well shot movie, but
I mean, it's very raw. Like for
it's good. It just.
It's not. I
it's
don't
not
think
my favorite by them, but
no.
I like Good Time though. Their use of that, where just everything feels like
the claustrophobic.
Like you just feel like it feels like you can like smell Robert Pattinson, like just like so close to him the whole movie.
And also, just like Terrence Malick, she shoots
greasy.
I think.
Greasy in that movie.
Like I don't think she shot this on film because it looks like digital cinematography for songs to Nomadland to Eternal. For sure, Eternal is shot digitally because they don't shoot on film anymore because Marvel hates film. Like they stopped. I mean, Iron Man is still one of the best looking films. Like not because it's an amazing looking film, but that was just shot on film. It just had natural fucking blacks because that's what film does. Fucking Kevin Feige. What's it called? And when we get into cinematographer, you find out that they've used this cinematographer for five fucking different movies. Same cinematographer for different directors. Fuck. I'm getting triggered. But yeah, I enjoyed this. It's digital. It looks digital, but at the same time, it works in this one because of the way kind of like that Malick look to it. Even though I do prefer Malick when he was shooting on film. But yeah, let's. Do you have anything more to add on that before we go on to the writer?
No, that was about it. I just wanted to shout out those two moments.
Yeah, and the writer. This one is actually. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it, but let's just say this. I guess I'm a little biased toward this film because I was like, what's it called? It's just it hit me at the right time. It was like I watched it. I think like it was like almost before I graduated college. One of the last films I saw in during my college days at Landmark, and I went in. Nobody was there. Quiet theater. On off-kilter day, and then just like I didn't know what I was expecting. I was expecting a very shitty movie. I was like forced into it because my professor was like extra credit
because you saw the poster,
and I was like, oh, this sounds so stupid. And then like I looked at her previous movies called "Songs My Brothers Taught Me," so pretentious, ugh, piece of shit, ugh. And then I went to go see the film, and I was just like already dreading it. I was even like spreading my arms apart, ready to sleep, putting my feet on the other seat because there's no one in the theater. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, fuck.
That was really good.
Yeah, I was like, that hit me in a different way because I really like Terrence Malick's shit. So watching it this way, I was like, oh, wow. It's way different from the poster. Never have I been so betrayed by the poster in a good way.
Yeah.
What's it called? But what do you guys think? Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it. It was, I mean, it's I think it's again one of her early works. You can see because I did not see Songs My Brother taught me, but like you guys were saying, like she really seems to love like the West, the American West, a lot. Which
She just
I
likes
mean,
rural America a lot.
yeah, like
Especially in,
just
like,
the
Nomadland
countryside.
and
Yeah,
this.
like a lot of the nature and stuff like that. It's
Except Eternals. That's all.
yeah, Eternals is all over the world. To be fair, like
Yeah.
she just bounces all over, which makes sense for that film. But yeah, with this one though, no, it's an extremely personal story. It feels like very intimate at times, and just it's tragic. You know, there's a lot of tragedy in it. It's one of those films that like, man, I enjoyed it, but like I don't know how soon I'll rewatch it, just because like it. You know, it just made me very sad.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but like that's not bad at all. You know, it's a catharsis. Like it was nice, but like yeah, it touched me.
You liked watching suffering.
What about you, Blake?
I liked it a lot. Also, I saw the poster. And I've already seen fucking Nomadland and Eternals before this. So I already knew she was like, you know, a good director. But I saw that poster, and even seeing her other movies, it's like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know. But I watched it, and yeah, I liked it a lot. I liked the visual style of it a lot. This actually might be visually my favorite movie by her. Like her use of just these wide shots and nature. It's very, very personal. I felt like you really get into the mind of the character. Just overall, it's just really, really solid. There's a lot to enjoy in it, and I'd certainly recommend it to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a performance by. Sorry, go.
I was going to say one last thing too. Also, sign of a good movie, if they can make you care about something you absolutely don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
I do not give a shit about bull riding or
Like rodeo
rodeos.
stuff.
Like
Yeah.
that's probably the furthest thing from my interests maybe possible. So that was also going into it. I was like, I don't want to watch a movie about like a rodeo. That's like literally as far away from like my interests as you can get. But yeah, I was really intrigued.
No, yeah, same. Like I actually. Personally, I'm like really against like rodeo
same,
stuff in
same.
general. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that it's something that people should do for a lot of ethical reasons. But the movie did such a good job of like letting you understand why they do it and why it's culturally so significant and like personal to these people. And you know, whether you agree whether it should be happening or not, like it's still
Because they show both sides. Like,
yeah,
you know,
like it's still like, you know, it gives you a really good perspective on these people and yeah, and their lives and why it's so important. And that was just great filmmaking. Yeah.
No, I agree with that. Definitely. It's like, I'm not gonna lie. I do like cowboys, rodeos, I guess, because like I'm really big into westerns and shit. So I was like kind of interested, but I didn't know watching this it was gonna be about like. I knew it probably had to do with somebody with a cowboy hat, maybe cowboys.
Yeah.
Is it the poster, you guys?
The poster's
It's
just a dude,
literally dude
cowboy
looking. Face.
It's like a Hallmark movie.
He looked like discount Josh Hartnett. You know, and I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, watching it, I was like, I was kind of like, oh, it's about rodeos and cowboys. I guess this will be like a Tommy Lee Jones directed movie, and it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, okay, so brief synopsis on this film. This is what's it called? It's about Brady Blackburn, and a story very loosely based on the actual the actor's life, the actor's actual life, which is his name is Brady John Drew or something. And because what's it called? The real life story, so the story of the film is he was a bull rider, a cowboy rider, and after a major incident in one of the rodeos, he suffered brain damage and had to do like basically emergency surgery. And as a result, he's been in recovery since.
Yeah, he's got a plate in his head, and yeah, he's not fit for riding anymore.
Exactly, and it's like, and he's lives in poverty with his dad, Wayne Blackburn, and his autistic teenage sister, Lily Blackburn, who are also played by his real life dad and his sister. And their actor's name are also just, well, I guess not. In this case, it's Tim, his played dad, but the the actor plays Lily, her name is Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if you just go down the cast list, Cat Clifford plays Cat Clifford. What's it called? He's the he was in Songs My Brothers Taught You too. Actually,
Was he?
Yeah, he's kind of long place. He's Aurelia's brother, older brother. You remember?
Who's sorry?
You know, really, what's Johnny's
Oh,
girlfriend?
Is
Yeah.
he the guy that's questioning him?
Yeah, and at the end he's like he's the tattoo artist and the writer. Yeah, the tattoo artist and the writer, and at the end he's like, okay, basically God be with you type of thing. And he's also in Nomadland as a nomad. Yeah, he's like,
is he really?
Yeah, he's
is he the young nomad that's like she talks to you on the side of the road?
It's like, where's
no,
your
I don't
family?
know. I don't. That's
Oh,
no.
he might. Is he the one that bums a cigarette off of her?
I think so. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kids.
that's
And
probably
his name in that one is Cat too. Also, yeah, they just like he just keep it. He's a
Wasn't
his
he-
secret.
The Chloe Zhao cinematic
Yeah.
universe.
Wait, wasn't he in Eternals? Didn't he play Camille Nanjiani?
That was. Oh my God.
You guys want to see the
What's it
Chloe
called?
Zhao?
Yeah, that's the
cinematic
only one. That's the only one that he's not in the film. And you know what?
You guys want to see the Chloe
That
Zhao?
says something.
The Chloe Zhao cinematic universe at the end of the writer, Francis McDormand walks up and is like, "Son, I'm here to talk to you about the Poverty Initiative."
Let's go. But you know what? We'll get into that when it comes to recurring themes.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big one.
but then what's it called? And basically he's recovering and he's just struggling with a life with what's it called, potentially not being a bull rider anymore, and like he's without purpose, a cowboy without purpose, right? And he's struggling to deal with it, and if anything, he's recklessly trying to improve himself to go back to that lifestyle to the detriment of himself and his family. And it's a really fascinating tale about American West life there, or even like the Indian reservation, and how like that is so integral to their life, and how they feel like that is like the only dream that they have, or the tide that they have, and also the risks that come with it, that and the reckless endangerment they do it, but they don't criticize it. They, if anything, it doesn't even celebrate it. It just presents it as it is and presents their perspective, very empathetic towards their lifestyle. Like I said, I think she's one of the most empathetic filmmakers that we have. And I do wish we had more filmmakers like this. I'm not very likely, but it's cool. It's the real life accident was worse. It's like the rodeo bronc, like he had the accident, but it basically it hit the head so hard, it like what's it called? It left like a 3-inch knuckle deep gash in his skull.
Yeesh.
And then manure and sand was like basically just ingrained into his brain.
Oh,
and he was like seizure then coma. And then afterwards he saw that he had all those tubes and he ripped it out and he walked and he proposed to his girlfriend and then like wasn't cautious right afterwards. And it just
What'd she say?
Yeah, I know. And this is like, oh, wow. I mean, if anything, they toned it down for this movie. Yeah, which is good. I think that would have been pretty hard to watch. And hard for the actor to reenact.
Oh yeah. And
then, but the Lane Scott character, which is his best friend, who was apparently like very talented bull rider,
played by Lane Scott.
Exactly. Yeah. That his accident was that is pretty much him. That he is not acting. Like he actually is like in a care facility. What's it called? Basically,
unable to speak. He's like going through physical therapy to like help him learn how to walk again and everything. But yeah, he suffered a extremely serious injury as well.
Doesn't sound bad. Is he like as bad as the character in that movie?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he is.
Like he can't talk or
anything? Yeah,
anything?
he can. Yeah, that's just him. And then the video they showed.
That's brutal, man. Of him getting.
Yeah, because that one's actually like. So in real life, his accident wasn't because they changed it because thematically it makes more sense. He just got in a car accident in real life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is I think even more tragic to think about it. It's not even from like, it's from a super unrelated thing.
That's so brutal, man.
And it's just from this, and then his entire life has been, what's it called, upended, and he was doing successful. Like at one point, Brady was talking about that Lane wearing this summer in one summer made like $18,000 from bull riding.
Wow.
And then and he was doing well for himself until like if
I mean it's like the rodeo lifestyle. It can be like a window or an escape for these people to be able to just to get out of poverty and stuff. If you can do it well enough, like that can be your ticket. And to lose your life to that, like, I mean, they even make a reference to like the NFL because I forget one of the characters says,
because like 8 concussions. And stuff like that.
He's like it's like 15 concussions or something, like something ridiculous. He's like, if I was an NFL player, like I'd be dead
or brain dead or something. Yeah,
and it's like, yikes, man! It's like that follows you for the rest of your life, dude. Like that's oof, yeah, it's terrible. But like understandable, and that's just
Because that's for
beautiful.
them. That's their purpose, right? That's
Yeah.
their escape from the reservation lifestyle, which is hard. Honestly, it's no
Yeah.
it's no wonders. I prefer honestly because we'll talk about this when we go to recurring themes about like another film about reservation life, but that tackles a different topic. But Wind River, even though I do like that film, it's a very different viewpoint, and I think it's actually kind of a problematic viewpoint compared to these films. But I prefer when we talk about reservation lifestyle I would want to see it from somebody within the reservation, and they should be the one telling the stories, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
I think Chloe Zhao does as good a job as any outsider could do in trying to portray that story. But like,
if you didn't if you didn't know her name and you just watched the film, you would think that it's directed by somebody very intimate, or maybe even like somebody from the reservation.
Yeah, she grew up in the West, or was a rodeo fan or whatever. I mean, the same thing goes for like Nomad Land and everything too. But it's like,
and then you see a film directed by Chloe Zhao. What?
Yeah, she's like from Beijing and stuff, and it's like what? Yeah. Like I don't know. It's just that's such a feat to be able to do that.
And it's interesting. And once again, we'll get into that in the recurring themes, recurring series background, and what happened. But yeah, it's it really affected me in a different way. Just the cinematography, the looks, the landscapes, everything with the horse, Apollo. What happened to Apollo? Fucking that for me that was the saddest part.
Oh yeah. Sorry, no. I was gonna say I think one of those shots where he's first riding on the horse, that was probably my favorite shot of the film because he's very scared to get back on the horse, and they make a comment about it earlier, like, "Oh man, don't be." And I think I like that they also show the culture of like of that toxic masculinity like that exists, where he's just like, "Come on, man, like be a man, get up on the horse, like don't be." Don't be scared and then just become a farmer, and it's like, again, if those are your two choices to be a fucking rodeo cowboy, where it's like you're putting your life on the line and your physical well-being, or to be a fucking farmer, it's like that's two really hard choices to make because farming ain't easy.
No.
And then the shot where he decides to finally get onto Apollo and he's riding him.
That is probably my favorite sequence.
It's beautiful.
It's like a triumphant moment for him too.
Yeah,
like he's finally be able to hence the title, Ride.
Yeah.
That's like surprisingly very little writing from him because that's the whole point. He wants.
Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah, he can't ride because it's too dangerous.
Yeah, and then because you see with his hands clenching up because and he suffers a seizure because he's not resting.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. It's sad. And then what happens with Apollo, like when Apollo just goes off by himself and just
rips himself through the barbed wire fencing and
has to be put down.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, you thought Old Yeller was sad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they might have look, somebody with more wealth and stuff like that would have been able to surgery, but they don't. They firmly established that they just can't. They barely afforded Apollo.
Yeah,
which once again the recurring thing, we'll talk about all that because right now it's just kind of a brief overview. What about you, Blake? Anything else you want to add?
No, I just really liked it.
And now we get into her prized, and for some people, their favorite picture for No Man's Land is definitely the one with the most clout. It's about Fern, who is post Great Depression after losing her job,
city.
Yeah, her entire city, and also on top of that, her husband. She decides to take a more nomadic lifestyle and go cross country or landscapes and go to job to job. And we're just following her through this emotional journey that she takes, adopting this nomadic lifestyle. And we get into the nomadic subculture too. And once again, usually a lot of good, wide Western landscapes. And
turned up to 11 in this one.
Yeah. And it's like, for what's it called? Regardless, because I'm not going to spoil which was my favorite, but in terms of just technically, I think this was at her peak. In terms of just technicality, what they did, the colors, and also even acting. Even though when we get to Internals, I think that was too much, using too many actual actors. But then for this one, it's the right balance of they have two named actors, David and Frances McDormand.
Yeah,
and I think they have a couple in the back, and then most of them are. Non-actors or recognizable actors, and I think that's the best mix in terms of, in my opinion,
for her directing style. I think.
Yeah, and it's just and the subject material it is definitely. It's hard to say because they're all. I know it is a little bit more meandering on purpose because they kind of really get into that.
It's called Nomad.
Yeah, exactly. To really get into that, because it really makes you get into the mindset of a nomad land, which just feels like you're going from place to place to place.
Yeah.
And just endless and wandering.
Honestly, I have to say of the 3 pre-Eternals, this is probably my least favorite. I do agree.
We have a segment at the end to talk about it.
I
mean, that's a little bit of effort. I'm not going to spoil.
I wanted to say, because I agree with you, on the technical level, it is the best. However, overall, like we talked about Nomad, me and Ron have talked about Nomadland like 15 times between each other at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just, things work for me and things don't work for me. I almost kind of wish they did a weird, because there's a lot of like documentary kind of elements in it, right?
Yeah, it feels like a documentary.
Yeah,
film,
I kind of
almost.
wish they just...
I've heard the prettiest documentary ever made.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know, but part of me kind of just wishes they did, like, if you're going to be a weird hybrid, be a weirder hybrid. Like, fuck it. Why not just have Chloe Zhao, like, driving around in a van, like, also doing filmmaking and making a documentary? Like, I don't know.
They have the BTS. That's what that is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, but still. Yeah, but that's not the fucking movie.
Get the Blu-ray.
And I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying that some things don't work for me in Nomadland.
That's fair. I really enjoyed Nomadland. It's not exactly the style of filmmaking that I'm drawn to. So I don't know. But I did enjoy it though. Like, it was beautifully shot, really well acted, even by the people who were not professional actors. They were actual nomads and stuff. Yeah. Just done really, really well. Again, like a non-biased point of view, just showing these people's lives, just showing how they exist in this world, which is really just like one of those underground like things that you just don't think about at all, and it's just kind of great to see it on the screen. Just gives them a spotlight. Yeah, it's great, but yeah, I'm not exactly going to probably revisit it anytime soon, which is unfortunate.
Just out of curiosity, because I know with what's it called? Well, I know with Blake, you already seen it in theaters, so I'm not going to ask you this question, but I know you watched it like not in theaters, right?
No,
and then
I watched it on my phone.
I
know. I did not feel good about it. It's like I'm watching it. I'm like, man, I should really not be watching this on my phone. But I was pressed
while
for time,
you were
man.
in Amazon.
Yeah, while I was in fucking Amazon. So like I was watching it in chunks too. So yeah, not the best way to watch a movie like this.
It's the way
at
she
all.
intended for you to watch it, Ronald.
I make a point that I really try not to do that.
What's it called? Do you think? I guess like in a couple years from now, they just, or probably not a couple years, be like 5 years. They do like some type of anniversary screening in theaters. Would
Yeah.
you watch it again then?
Yeah, I
and
think
do you think
so.
your opinion would change? Like somewhat.
It's totally possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think like, there's plenty of movies that you can revisit as you mature and just like, your opinions change and stuff. So I could see myself returning to it eventually and enjoying it much more. So
One thing to throw in, sorry. Chloe Zhao goes out of her way to make these like incredible landscape shots, but my favorite shots or movies are never those. My favorite shot from Nomadland, which I actually really like a lot and found myself thinking a lot about, is actually just the shot of her walking around with like the sprinkler. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
How do you guys not know what I'm talking about?
That's your favorite shot?
It's my favorite shot of the whole movie, where she's like, it's actually still kind of shot widescreen if I remember correctly. It's a shot of her just like strolling down the parking lot with the little sprinkler going, Happy New Year's. I don't know why. That shot really stuck
yes,
with me.
I do know that one. Okay,
like
yeah.
Blake purposely tries to choose the ugly shots in the
That's
beautiful
not an
film.
ugly
I'm just
shot.
kidding. It's not.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's just
great.
like amongst the shots.
You could argue that like perhaps like because of her like such sweeping landscape shots and everything, which they're again, it's like I think we're gonna like if you haven't seen any of these movies, you might be thinking like Lord of the Rings style landscape shots. They're
No, it's not.
It's not meant to be like these grand epic
like
or anything.
if you guys have seen any like Terrence Malick like since his Lebesky collaborations,
I think I shot every time Philip brings up Terrence Malick.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true. Like
It's fair, yeah,
Yeah,
for this
for this
comparison,
director, I don't really bring up Malick that much.
No, I just meant today.
What's it called? It's what's it called? It's very similar.
Yeah.
Very.
I forgot to say something when we were talking about the writer. It reminded me a lot of The Wrestler. Like in terms of like
I guess subject material. Yeah,
just in terms of like the main like
I
plot.
haven't seen that, and I love Darren Aronofsky.
Have you seen The Wrestler?
I know. I'm a terrible
Yeah,
human being. and
Wrestler is fantastic.
something I definitely have to watch because I'm a huge Aronofsky
Yeah, but it
fan.
reminded me a lot of The Wrestler in terms of like this guy who's just like who can't do this thing that he loves and is his entire purpose in life, and just that's stripped away from him and he's just kind of left to just look at himself and have to realize what's who he is. Like he has to reevaluate everything, and it's just it's great. Sorry, going back to Nomadland.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yes,
I think like it's like what's it called, and it's usually it's great. It's like when you do these shots, right? Like it's sometimes it's on sticks, but 90% of the times like you could still see like in the wide landscape shots like slight movement because they're on a steady cam and stuff like that. But sometimes like you could tell it's just on a stick or what's it called. But it's like it's that look of like it's still but not perfectly still. And it's like it has always that wandering look to it.
Yeah, it helps kind of ground it a bit, and it adds that sense of like you're saying, like the wandering. That it gives you a real sense of wanderlust too. Like it's like it makes me want to go on a freaking road trip the whole time. Each of these movies, like I've been like, man, I want to travel, man. Like I really want to go see these places like in real life. But yeah, which by the way, when Nomad Land came out, like someone made like a list of all the places that she goes to, as like a road trip thing of being like, hey, you want to take the journey, you can, and it's like that's great. Like go do that.
I know it's like very. It's like
a lot of planes of nothing though.
Yeah, but like there's beauty in that.
Yeah,
there is, and it's diversified enough. Even like when she's like actually probably ironically one of my favorite shots. It's like though I love all the landscape. It's like when she's in I think like an arcade, and she's like I think like center bottom right, bottom left, and then there's like you have the different arcade machines like one's green, one's red, one's blue, all hitting her at different places, and it just shows her being isolated in like modern in like a modern landscape. But when as soon as she goes into something that's more naturalistic, it's just like
she feels at peace, free. Yeah,
at ease. She's smiling.
I think probably my favorite shot from Nomad Land was like when she turns back to the home, like her town in Nevada, which got completely shut down when the factory got shut down. So she lost everything, like you said, including her husband. And she goes back to her old home, which is like abandoned and all destitute and stuff. And she sees like she's looking out her old back door, and it's just kind of wide open. And you can just see out into the landscape, and you see like the blue snow-capped mountains in the like kind of like blue velvet snow-capped mountains, and it's just I don't know, it's so good. There's so much there.
It's crazy. It's like they're all from a cinematographer. His name is what's it called? Joshua James Richards, who is not that big of a big name of a cinematographer, but he does all her films except Eternals.
Good job, Joey Richards.
Yeah, and it's like, and he's and I think like super underrated. Like I think like I do hope that it's kind of like the guy who did Old and Split and It Follows. That guy he just kind of blew up and did a lot of those films. Like I feel like that's kind of happening to him, but on the more like art house side.
Which that's great for him. I mean, he seems like he's extremely talented. So I would love to see more of his works.
Yeah, it just won't be in a Marvel film.
Good for him.
It's probably like she's like, can I bring him along? We have a cinematographer we use for Avengers: Age of Ultron. Let's just use him instead.
Oh, man. It's the same dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marvel's the one that's tangled in strings.
Yeah, it's just like they used him 5 fucking times, and I don't even blame the guy. Like, get it? You need to work.
I'll give him. Okay, when we get to Eternals, we'll talk
the man
about
gets a paycheck. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like okay, so let's kind of get into recurring story beats, themes, elements in a work.
Pick me, teacher.
Okay, Blake, what do you want to say?
I wrote down quite a few, but I actually want to say this one. I found it to be in all of the movies, kind of including Eternals, although not how it is in the other ones. Finding new purpose after misfortune. That seems to be like one of the biggest recurring themes in our movies. Like, all of them kind of start with some kind of. They actually usually start with the aftermath. They usually don't. They never actually show the misfortune happening. We kind of always meet these characters like almost moments after the.
Yeah. Except Eternals. That's gonna be a recurring thing.
Although I was gonna say in Eternals, you could. I mean, definitely.
They actually show you the misfortune though.
Yeah, but I'm saying they do kind of have like a change your purpose after misfortune moment, although it's not nearly as personal or real. But yeah, I think to me that's the biggest recurring theme. But I mean, rural America, poverty, struggle, Search for Freedom is kind of one in a way. Making your own like family. Those are kind of like the themes that seem to be in all of her movies.
Even Eternals, I agree. I have a lot of the same points. I mean, it's like I think everyone's loss of purpose is like the main thing.
Yeah.
I think, right? It's like that's pretty obvious from The Rider to Nomadland to Eternals. Like these people that had like they were set on what their life goals were. They were living it to to a long extent. And then just eventually it just kind of they get the rug pulled out from under them, or they complete it and then it's like, well, what now? And I think that's a very interesting question to get these people, and even in Eternals when it's like these beings that have had basically are going to live on infinitely, and it's like, what do you do when your purpose is done? It's like, I don't know, I guess I'll just be a teacher. I don't know. It's cool. It's up. I like it though. Yeah. That's probably the biggest reoccurring theme I see.
Yeah, I agree with all of that stuff too. I think like it's like specifically like, and I like this for kind of like I put it in the same category as oh god, he's this director. I think it's Sean Baker who did Tangerine and the Florida Project. Have you guys seen any of the?
Oh, I've seen Tangerine and I love it.
Yeah,
I've not seen yet, but I really wanted to see Florida Project.
Watch Tangerine too.
Especially because Willem Dafoe's in that one, right?
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's coming out. He's actually coming out with the film this year, which we will cover for Oscar season for called Red Rocket, which is also about rural America, stuff like that. And it's like these subs. I like that in these scene that they're what's it called kind of like that where they specifically I call them like rural American indies where they purposely like to choose subjects of like the downtrodden, the marginalized within America that we don't generally see in these type of films.
I'd say like Sean Baker kind of likes a different type of. He definitely has his likes too, similar to Chloe Zao.
Well, in each film is a different marginalized.
Yes,
because like
he's got. I don't know. He kind of has a. I do like Sean Baker, by the way.
Yeah, because in that one, like he does like Koreatown in one thing, which is about a guy delivering Chinese food. Which is funny, a Korean guy delivering Chinese food, and then in his own weird way. I think Sean Baker is like on the more extreme though. Like he actually like his little variety to his marginalized groups that he covers. Like he was about to do he had the whole controversy with, and fuck Bella Thorne for dragging our fucking Sean Baker through this. He was actually researching OnlyFans. and sex workers and I can see why in his upcoming film Red Rocket.
I'm surprised he hasn't made a movie about OnlyFans. That seems like something he would want to do.
Exactly, and his upcoming film was I think it's the actor Simon Rex, who was a former pornographic actor, and the main character is a former pornographic actor living in the rural West. Ron just showed us a poster of The Rider, which is just
it's a terrible poster.
It's just a really bad poster. I don't like none of her posters. Even Nomadland is okay, but like
what's the Nomadland poster?
It's just Frances McDormand next to her trailer.
Isn't it? It's like she's sitting on the. Yeah, no, I hate that poster.
It's better than the Rider trailer, the Rider poster. But Songs My Brother has the best one.
I haven't seen that one. It's just sad.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll look it up right now. Let's keep talking.
Then, what's it called? It has multiple posters. It has bad posters too. Don't get me wrong, but like one of them is like, oh okay.
Don't you like the Eternals poster?
Oh, I can't do that.
You know what? Yeah, Songs my brother taught me.
Can you
better.
put the Eternals poster?
It's not amazing.
It's
they're just fucking standing
they're
around.
standing
there. What's the point?
I don't know why. If I'm thinking it's the right one, it looks like Man of Steel to me for some reason. I get like Man of Steel.
Let
Pull
me
it
see.
up.
It's. I mean,
for audio only listeners, we're just pulling up posters from our phone.
They're all standing on a beach, just looking off into the sunset.
I fucking hate
and then
that.
there's the other one where they're silhouetted with like.
Maybe that
better,
just reminds me of the.
I still
Zack
hate it.
Snyder
Yeah, this
cut
one's
thing.
slightly better, where they're again in silhouette, but all their names are just listed, and the spaceship is above them in space. It's
Anyways,
so
moving
lame.
on.
But all right,
We'll have a poster special.
Yeah, but like
one day.
basically, it's it's more. It just creates more interesting subject material, like stuff that we haven't seen. But the difference between like her and like some of the other directors, and like I actually put it in the Sean Baker's where like they don't necessarily like also with like Scorsese kind of like he's not the only like the first one, but he's definitely popularized, which is the non-subjective viewpoints where it's it's subjective in the sense, but it's non-judgmental. POV of these characters or perspective of these characters, where
Yes.
he doesn't, they don't criticize or
I
they
think that
don't.
Tangerine, or back to Sean Baker, Tangerine's a great example of that.
Yeah.
Where it's like we're hanging out with these characters in poverty, but like the movie really, even though like the movie is inherently a comedy, like the characters are taken very seriously.
Yeah.
And you could tell like he respects and likes these characters.
Yeah, he loves them. He honors them, but then at the same time also admires their faults.
I'm sorry, and that's totally. I know we're not talking about Tangerine, but Tangerine has like such a great ending, and I think that's part of it. Is that way that movie ends is so beautiful. Don't you?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We should do a Sean Baker episode one day.
We should do a Sean Baker
That's it called
episode.
2022. But yeah, kind of like that. It's not in some way celebrating, but we're very empathetic to their lifestyle and highlighting all the different aspects of it. Unlike another film that talks about Indian reservations, Wind River, and that's another thing. If she's talking about Native Americans, she has a Native American central protagonist, or it's from their POV. Wind River, directed by Taylor Sheridan, and I love this guy's work, and I even like the movie, but it was problematic because that film the main character shouldn't have been Jeremy Renner. It shouldn't have been a white dude outsider.
Yeah.
And I get why there's like it's that there's like thematic elements to it, but I for me personally it felt more like a commercial reason for why they had to do it, and also it had a lot of a meaner tone towards and a viewpoint towards the reservations. It definitely looked like an outsider going in. We're like, an outsider is like, the reservation looks like shit. Fuck that. There's nothing good about it. Like throughout Wind River, like there's a character who's about to get arrested. He's just like, oh, this place just eats you alive. It's so shit. Fuck.
I haven't seen it since theaters. I do not remember it being that.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Elizabeth Olsen tries to get these two drug dealers.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's the brother
I
of the
mean,
murdered girl.
I understand what they're going for, and I think ultimately the message that they're trying to bring light to is how Native American women
can
have
be missing more.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
the highest rate of like
But I think that should have
disappearances and stuff.
the main character for that show should have been the dead Native American woman's dad.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, it was
I
like-
mean, technically, no, it was her dad. I mean, but it was fucking Jeremy Renner.
No, it wasn't her. No.
No,
her,
Jeremy Renner's
Oh,
like
no, sorry,
Jeremy Renner
I forget.
has a half Native American daughter with his
who
hot
also-
Native American wife,
Who also
He's just-
disappeared and stuff.
Yeah.
and,
I haven't seen that movie since theaters.
yeah.
And also the
It
cop
was
they bring
half off
in
day
is
at Perkins,
Elizabeth
as I
Olsen,
recall.
another white cop that they bring from the
Yeah.
outside, literally.
Yeah.
And then it's always from like and it's not like a very favorable perspective on the reservations. But it's
which not necessarily is a bad thing because I feel like
I mean, it is tough. I get that.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that, but it's like
John
it is
Bernthal.
very singular in its
Yeah.
perspective, and I think
yeah,
it's,
I understand.
it's
yeah.
not.
John
It's like
Bernthal's
this.
in that.
Yeah.
Surprise, John Bernthal. I didn't know.
Surprise!
Yeah.
I fucking you told me John Bernthal's in it, so the whole movie I was waiting for him to show up.
You told him he was in it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Why? Why? That was a big surprise.
I
when we
didn't
watched
get
it.
because it was like Matt Damon in Interstellar, where I was just like, hey, he's in this movie. I didn't know that.
What's it called? And on top of that, there's a lot of things about like nature, natural landscapes versus nature versus modernity, where like sometimes they're in conflict with each other and sometimes they're in harmony with like the different in different elements where it's like a lot of times like she favors, and Songs My Brother taught me, she favors them walking. Because like literally in Songs My Brothers, like he has this modern element which is like a vehicle to transport, and that's like also a sense of freedom. He's like it's like almost like Mother Nature. You have that, it's gonna get blown up. You're gonna walk. You know what I mean? And and sometimes they're conflict with each other, and sometimes it's praising nature, and also at the same time, her big thing is about like environments, right? And, like a lot of these people are victims of their own environments, birthed by their environments, but also at the same time they're like they celebrate the environment they're in. So it's like a weird mixed bag, and the way she shoots it too, like I said, mostly wide. Actors, close-ups usually have a little bit of environment in them. It's like encapsulating everything, like we're victims and products of our own environment, and that's cool. And at least in the first two movies, it's like vices that come from the environment, like it's a big thing, particularly alcoholism.
Yeah, especially in Songs
so
from My Brother.
Yeah, and that's the inhibiting factor for a lot of these people's success.
Yeah,
there's like these vices that come in, and there's dilemmas like, is it from the environment or is it just from the own person's faults? And that kind of comes up in The Writer, where with Wayne, like one of the reasons why they're in that financial destitution is because he's
drinking
drinking,
and
gambling and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of vices that they do. They drink all the time, and you think like, oh, what money do they have? Like, why are they doing this? He's like, even at the end, he's like, I don't want to deal with my family. I'm gonna go to the bar.
Yeah.
And it's maybe sometimes it's like it's it gets she also gets into the thing where like people are just habitual creatures, but she doesn't judge the characters for that. She's just like, that's how it is. Except with her Eternals, but okay, let's get into. Okay, you guys want to have anything last thing to say, or you want to go into just quickly go into the visual styles and stuff?
Let's go into. Oh yeah, let's do the visual style. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we already mentioned it before, but yeah, she really likes her handheld Steadicam, particularly Steadicam, not like handheld like Jason Bourne style. But can you imagine Chloe Zao directing a Jason Bourne film? Like, I mean, like a Steadicam, Jason Bourne walking slowly through the landscape, contemplating.
He'd just be out in like the. He's just in like Arizona for the whole time for some reason, and then all of his missions are in Nebraska and Oklahoma.
One other visual flair that I've noticed that's in like all of her movies except for Eternals is like tracking shots of cars driving down really long roads and landscapes. That seems like every one of her movies have that.
Yeah. I was going to say that, like...
Nomadland has, like, 15 shots of that.
Yeah, which makes the most sense.
Yeah,
but
I
was going to say, even, like, that shot that I really liked in The Rider, where she's, like, riding on, like, on the horse for the first time, she kind of echoes that shot in Eternals when Salma Hayek's character is riding, and it's
but not as good.
No, it's, like, not nearly as impactful because it's not really important to the story at all. But, yeah, it's just...
Like, I thought they were. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, Salma Hayek, like, first discovering horses and bonding with the horse and having a segment. Or
that'd be cool.
But no, it's Marvel. So, it's, like I said, and I, even though I'm saying this, I actually do love Marvel, but we'll get into Eternals. Mm-hmm. But, so that's straight out of, like, I mean, it's not just Terrence Malick, but that's one of his signature things of people going, like, song to song. 60% of that film is Michael Fassbender just driving or in the back of a truck and going to festivals and in a truck looking at landscapes. Because Terrence Malick is like, he doesn't have scripts when he writes. But at least in this one, that's why I like Terrence Malick is his own beast. I appreciate it in a different way. But this one is like, she's a more palatable Terrence Malick because she actually has a structure and a script to her stuff. Like, surprisingly, it's very scripted in Nomadland. Like, there's some stuff that, like, there's beats and everything.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
But it's like, it does it where it's meandering, but it's meandering with a purpose. With Terrence Malick, as much as I love him, it's like meandering for meandering.
Yeah.
Did you see the famous Christopher Plummer thing where, like, he has this insane monologue? He's like, he wrote it, he rewrote it, he practiced, like, a week on it, right?
Yeah.
And then it was on a shot, but suddenly he heard crickets. So Terrence Malick just like put the camera away from him while he's doing the monologue and records the crickets instead of him. Yeah. And then Christopher's like, I'll never work with him again.
All right, you guys want to get into Eternals now?
And one last thing I want to say about the visual styles influences.
What do you want to say?
What's it called? Yeah, also, I didn't mention this. A lot of Wong Kar-wai in her stuff, especially with, like, the moves and stuff. And all the indoor stuff is Wong Kar-wai. It's like this. Indoor stuff, Wong Kar-wai. Outdoor stuff, Terrence Malick. And that's a very good mix. Okay, now let's go into
The Eternals.
The Eternals. Living forever with the beaver. Eternals. Eternals.
The Externals.
Okay.
All right, so Eternals is the new MCU joint. Produced by Kevin Feige, directed by our good old Chloe Zhao, who apparently now is best friends with Kevin Feige.
Really?
Yeah, cause she's apparently because Kevin Feige is gonna produce a Star Wars film.
Huh.
But with
complete
100% creative control, which means no creative control because Disney.
I was gonna say, yeah, like that would be very
Is
fascinating
Ryan
to see what
Johnson
he
still
would do.
making a Star Wars trilogy? Because
It's not gonna happen.
I want to see Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. I hate Star Wars.
It'll take like 15 years.
And I still want to see it.
It'll take like 15, 20 years from now for people to finally be like...
Blake says he hates Star Wars, but that's what makes him a true Star Wars fan.
Yeah. That's it. Nobody hates Star Wars as much as Star Wars fans.
Have we had some Star Wars conversations in our day, Ronald?
Yes, we've had Quite a few, too many. So much so that we agreed we weren't going to talk Star Wars. So
Like,
We
right now-
actually agreed on the podcast. Star
Yeah.
Wars was an off limits topic, so let's
What's it
keep it
called?
that way.
this will become a 3-hour fucking
until we
episode.
get the Book of Boba Fett. I'm just kidding, but it's like what's it called? Yeah, she's gonna. There's very hinted strongly, and most likely she will direct Kevin Feige's produced Star Wars films. I think he's courting her to direct the film, which I would be very interested in.
Sounds like the wrong director, but
Because I feel like
Again,
at least
I
with
think-
Star Wars, they give a little bit more creative freedom to their creators than Marvel.
my
Yeah.
only thing,
Yeah.
okay, like I feel like she should get like maybe like a small series. I just can't
Yeah.
imagine her wanting.
I don't think she wants
don't
to
get
do
me
TV,
wrong,
though.
And don't get me wrong, I'm for it. If they want to make an actual Chloe Zhao Star Wars movie, sure, fine. But I just can't imagine this big project he wants would suit her. Like,
Well, to be fair, we don't know exactly what kind of project.
what's it
he
going to be
wants
about a
do.
pod racer that can't race anymore? Like, for real.
What if it's about the Knights of
it in my bones.
What if it's about Knights of the Old Republic?
But like, I
What
mean,
if it's-
but even then though, like,
What if it's
the
about
storm's coming, Annie. I feel
Yeah.
it in my bones.
like I mean the Star Wars like have you guys haven't seen Star Wars Visions yet, right?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Should make a movie about what happened to Sebulba after he crashed.
His entire life falls apart. He can't.
No, he's in Attack of the Clones in like a baller, like luxury spaceship. Don't you remember?
I think they made a Sebulba reference or something in Mandalorian. I want to say I don't know, but it looks like he's not doing well.
Sebulba's my favorite Star Wars character.
Sebulba.
right next to Watto, dude.
Dude, Watto. Oh my
Watto is the ugliest designed character I've ever seen in my entire life.
Did you forget about the diner guy? I forget that guy's
Oh,
fucking
shit.
shit,
Diner guy's
that
ugly.
Jetster?
He's really
Something
ugly.
like that.
Yeah, that guy.
but basically
Jedi should know the difference between knowledge and wisdom.
There's a YouTube channel called Arlenauts, and they do like this like beautiful redubbing of like most of the Star Wars movies.
yeah, I think I know
and
what you're
the
talking about,
prequels, yeah. And when they do that scene with Jaster, like whenever they cut away from him, you just hear him. He's like, like just like it sounds like he's gurgling.
I don't want that kind of serve me food.
Oh my
Why is there
God.
even a 1950s diner in Star Wars? I'm sorry.
Because he wanted to bring his American graffiti shit.
Yeah.
into it.
Honestly, really quick, last side tangent, and I swear to God, we'll get back on track. I really think that me and Ron could do an entire episode talking about side characters from the prequels. We could do an
Absolutely.
entire
Oh, yeah.
episode.
You want to buy some
There's enough.
sticks?
That's Sleazebaggio. That's the character's name. It's something like Scumbaggio or Sleazebaggio.
I'm surprised like Blake hasn't done an impression of Hondo. You guys know Hondo from Star Wars Clone Wars and stuff and Rebels? Because you guys aren't that big. So.
Oh my God! Hey, no, shut up. I know Hondo. Hold on a second. That's just the.
Or is that how you say his name, Hondo? Or is it like it's basically like he's basically a smuggler.
yes. Oh, fucking yeah. He's voiced by Jim Cummings, who's like done everything. Yeah. Honestly, he's. I'm not the biggest fan of Hondo. I feel like
Hondo. Or whatever.
yeah. Well, he's whatever. Honestly, I hate that they have him as
Little
like a
honey?
big part of like one of the rides at Disneyland.
Yeah.
One of the.
Actually, I'll say this: he grows. If you watch all of Clone Wars and Rebels,
To be fair, I have not finished Clone Wars. I'm only like on season 2, but
stopped.
yeah, I did. I
You didn't
stopped.
get to the best seasons.
I know.
Anyways, let's go for it.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
okay,
Yeah,
well,
this is
back to
not-
my original point.
This is
with
why
it.
we don't talk Star
Yeah.
Wars because
Star Wars.
that's what happens.
Okay, so the Visions. Have you guys seen the anime? Basically,
No.
Yeah, the anime adaptation with that one. What's it called? Which actually, apparently, I think we were going to cover it in one of the TV episodes. But
Oh no,
it's like it's
that's against our mission statement.
what's it called? It's actually very what's it called? Yeah, actually, I think when I saw that and how what's it called because they enlisted the help of like all different types of Japanese animation studios to do this.
Yeah.
It showed how fucking far and willing they were go with the mythology and the animation style and how daring it went.
Just from the little previews that I've seen, yeah, they go pretty wild. I mean, I think it kind of enhances a lot of the criticisms that people have of like Star Wars, like certain things like of like, you know, lightsabers. It's like, oh, look, there's like a whole branch of lightsabers, weapons and stuff. So it's like, but I mean, I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. And even like shows like The Mandalorian, I think help show it's like, wow, they can really kind of bring this down, which like I would love to see a slow personal story. Like honestly, if Chloe Zhao was doing the Obi-Wan
probably-
series,
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
that'd be like I'd be very intrigued.
I think that one's another Asian female director is doing that. I forgot who, but she directed the episode 3 of first season, where all the Mandos help Mando escape.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it's not my favorite episode.
What?
I'll
all
say
the
that
Mandos coming to help.
Yeah, I like it.
Them escaping with the child from the first season. That's one of your least favorite episodes.
That's not what I said. I said it's not my favorite.
Why
okay?
is that not your favorite from first season?
It just I don't know. I felt like it kind of. Fuck, like I don't know.
Bad take.
It's just I'll say it felt a little generic at times, like with that final like moment
on,
and
we're
everything.
not talking Star
Sorry,
Wars
yes,
is
we're not
generic.
fucking talking Star Wars.
It's all
we're
ripped
not,
from
we're not
one
talking
from the
Star
comic
Wars.
stuff.
We can't talk about Star
what's
Wars.
So basically,
Yes,
I'm really
whatever.
excited to see that. So yeah, so back to what's going on. This all ties back because Kevin Feige and them be best buddies. So Chloe Zhao, I hope to God you guys make an unfiltered Star Wars song.
Yeah.
All right, so Eternals.
Make a movie about the old lady that goes, my bones hurt.
And she has secret force powers and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, she's a Sith.
What's it called? That would be funny.
She runs
So
like
what
a
is
Tatooine show.
so what is everyone's familiarity with Jack Kirby's The Eternals? Like, have you guys read the comics? Have you guys seen them in like some type of cartoon adaptation or something like that?
I'm not super familiar with the actual comic books of the Eternals, but I am somewhat familiar with the concept of them and stuff because they're. I mean, they go around, especially Jack Kirby. It was like part of I know it was like I've seen and seen stuff about like his the production history behind like Jack Kirby's eventual move from Marvel to DC, and I know that the Eternals were part of that because he wanted to create this like wild and completely different kind of storyline and mythology and everything inside the Marvel universe. And so he created the Eternals and, the Celestials, and we're all big parts of that. And then he was basically dissatisfied with his limitations, and eventually he left to go to DC to create the New Gods. And, New Genesis, which is where Darkseid comes from, and a lot of other really cool characters. And it's very interesting to see that now that we kind of have both in real life now, like, or at least in live action, like movies.
Yeah,
Darkseid, and seeing like again Thanos and like everything. And sometimes I have to take a step back and be like, wow, this is wild.
I know that
like I never saw this coming
in a kind of neuter version, but like
like it's we'll get into that when we start talking about the movie, but like I understand that part of it. I've always been a really fan of the Celestials, just like the idea of them, the concept, like they pop up in the comics and stuff, and they're just really fascinating. And I think more than anything else, the parts that always drew me to them was just their designs. They're just so cool looking, again, especially with that Jack Kirby style,
right?
Where
it's like a metaphysical look to them, but yet at the same time they're whole by this like metal container, but it's not. It's like it's really cool.
It's kind of like like biochemical, like they're basically like, it's hard to see like what their human forms are like under, or not human, but like what their forms are underneath their armor and stuff. Like it's kind of like you don't understand fully, like are they robots? Are they like just kind of these godlike beings or something? And it's really cool. Yeah, like I love it.
And then for me, Eternals, like I think I like checked out like some of the panels from the Eternals before, and then but recently with this, I was like kind of going through some of the more storylines and everything. I was researching about it, and that's kind of my background. Not like crazy familiar with the Eternals, but I knew of them in the existence. And then I'm pretty sure Eternals.
I don't read
right?
comic books.
What's it called? It's his eyes just can't like
How
he
much-
sees him. It's blank.
How much dumb nerd shit can they find?
Oh my god.
Ron gets so mad when I say that.
Yeah.
Dumb
What's it
nerd
called?
shit. It's fine.
Oh my god.
It's fine.
Anyway,
he's an elitist nerd where he thinks he's like certain nerd stuff is better than other nerd stuff. What's it called? It's like
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of all nerds.
Yeah.
Every nerd is
I'm
elitist
not a
about their
nerd.
own
I
shit.
wouldn't consider myself a nerd.
You're kind of.
I'm
Yeah,
not-
are
you're
you
a nerd.
serious, dude? You know how much Star Wars knowledge you have? As
I
well? I know you hate.
I do hate Star
air
Wars.
quote hate Star
I
Wars.
do hate
but-
Star Wars.
people who like the replacements are nerds.
I don't like the fucking replacements.
I think you said that was your favorite animated
I do
series of
not
all time.
like the fucking replacements.
you
It was
do.
on Disney Plus and my girlfriend put it on, okay?
Nerd.
The nerdiest
Shut the
thing-
fuck up, nerd. You virgin bitch.
The The nerdiest thing that I get really nerdy about is like fucking Lost for some reason.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
This is what happens when Miles and Jason aren't here to back up Blake. Me and Philip just pile on Blake. I apologize, Blake. I apologize.
So let's get into the Eternals.
We love you, Blake.
We dedicated an entire 15-20 minutes to
just talking about nerd shit.
Oh, what's it called?
It's gonna be one of our most unfocused episodes ever.
No, I mean there's still
fine.
focus.
It's
I
fine.
guess just like we have one side tangent.
It's more fun though.
With Star Wars, but what's it called Eternals? For Eternals, yeah, it's just a wild. It's a wild source material, and it's interesting, and it's like there's a lot of potential to limit to it. But once I got in more research into the Eternals, I was like, they're gonna put this in a movie.
Yeah,
I was like, it's a lot. How are they gonna do this? Like, what are they gonna have to do? Why are they having so many Eternals in the first film? Right?
Yep.
I would have focused on like 3, 4, 5 max.
and they wanted more too. I heard that like originally, I think there's like 12 Eternals, and they originally wanted like 15, and it's like, why? That's so many. Like, yeah, okay.
And it's just like, and the deviants. And they also include the whole deviant subculture too, which they completely fuck up in this film. But it's because I didn't know more about deviants, and because and then there's like in some iterations of Thanos, he's a deviant.
He has the so basically, I mean, well.
Here comes the dumb nerd shit.
Yeah. All right. So basically, Thanos is an Eternal. He lived on Titan and everything, but he also carried a deviant gene, which made him look not like the other Eternals, which are like these beautiful, godlike beings that are like perfect and have like perfect genetics and everything. Because in the comics, they're not like androids, I guess.
No, they're not. They're changed it.
Yeah, which I think is okay, but like, but Thanos is not. He's just like just a regular. He's an Eternal, but he has that deviant gene, so that's why he looks purple and weird, and he gets like bullied as a shit. Because I actually did read that comic. I'll say that. Like I read the Thanos like origin stuff, and where he was. They showed him as a kid, and he was just basically experimenting on different living creatures, trying to like figure shit out, and he becomes like obsessed with death, and it's pretty cool.
Are you asking Ron like why he does research for the episode that we're talking about? It's the materials that we have to. Like bad Ron for doing research in your homework.
It's not that. It's just the holy fucking shit. You know about Thanos' childhood? Like I don't know. It's just
Thanos has an interesting childhood.
the video has like 3 million views.
He eventually dissects his mom. I'll say.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on.
I'm not talking about the video. I'm talking about just the.
No, I know, but like anyway, just in general.
Eternals.
What's it called? It does tie back to Eternals.
Back to the
deviant and genes and stuff like that. And actually, Thanos is relevant because they get the post.
Yeah, I guess he is like an Eternal then in this.
Yes, he is.
Well, kind. Yeah, I guess pretty much.
His
Like
brothers
once they get more into the actual.
Yes. The post-credit scene.
I'm sorry. Can we talk about that really, really quick?
No.
Okay.
Let's save that.
We'll save that at the end.
So, let's just get with the actual narrative. It's just let's straight this out of the way. I'm very mixed on this film.
Yeah,
I'm very mixed on this film. It's I admire a lot of the efforts. I have fun while watching it. I wasn't bored. I don't think it deserves all the critical deriding that it gets. It deserves to be the only rotten Marvel film. I like this more than Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah,
and I like this more than
Black Widow.
Yeah, that's a fucking Black Widow shit bucket. Piece of shit fucking film.
Oh wait, we forgot to mention that like the reason why we have a shit bucket as like our bottom rating list.
Nomadland.
Yeah, Nomadland has a shit bucket in it, and we
then
like
after that we just seem to keep running into movies that had shit buckets.
Yeah. So sorry, little
trivia,
half a trivia.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
But basically, yeah, it's like I think definitely it's like. It's better than those films, and better than some of the other mid-league.
It doesn't deserve to be the lowest rated Marvel movie.
Absolutely not.
But I see why though it is. That's the thing, and it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like I can see why it is because it's definitely like it's very different from like the other Marvel movies, and I can see it being very divisive amongst critics. Like some people saying it's too artistic, and some people saying it's not artistic enough.
Yeah,
and then it's like people being like, that's the review. Look at the reviews. They're very split on it. Very split. Like some people really, really like it, some people really, really don't.
Can I
see that why.
And you're saying you're mixed. I'm sorry, Ron.
No, go.
Because I was gonna say this. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of fucking dreading this movie, especially when I got my ticket and I looked at it and the runtime was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I was like, I think I might actually.
32.
It's long, whatever.
Yeah.
I saw the fucking runtime, and I was like, I think I might actually rather die. I already don't like long movies, and I was like, the idea of having to watch a Marvel movie that goes on that long just sounded like an actual nightmare to me. But I actually like this movie a lot more than I expected to. I found it to be. I mean, we'll get into the criticisms of it's same but also different, or it's different but it's also kind of the same. But honestly, I enjoyed a fair amount of it for a Marvel movie. It was actually entertaining, and for its length, it actually doesn't feel it. I don't think.
That means a lot coming from Blake, who is
Yeah,
one
he
of
has,
our
like-
resident Marvel haters.
Yeah, he has the patience of a Rugrats. So I mean, it's what's it called? So for him to say that, it's like that's a big thing. You know what I mean?
It's been said, like, it's like, I think the only person who hates Marvel more on our team is Miles, who just objectively hates anything Marvel.
Yes. All right. So brief synopsis of this film. It's about a group of eternal, immortal beings, or quote unquote immortal. They just live forever. Created by the Celestials, beings imbued with cosmic energy, and they were sent to Earth 7,000 years ago to basically watch over their civilization, help speed up the growth, and also to kill deviants.
Yeah.
But they thought they killed all deviants 500 years ago. Little do they know they're coming back.
Guess not.
And also, there's another event happening called the Remergence. The Emergence. Or Resurgence. Whatever. But it's... which basically just means the Celestial is going to be fucking born and destroy the Earth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which honestly would have been cool if it actually happened. I was like, whoa, where is it going to go from this? I was like...
Turns out all the Avengers are dead.
I gotta
Exactly.
say, that's one of my weakest parts of the movie, by the way, is that, like, when they started explaining that, I was like, oh no, the Earth's gonna die. Sorry, really quick side tangent. I swear to God, we've gone on 1,000. One trope I'm real fucking sick of, and this technically isn't that, but it's pretty close, is I'm tired of the villain wants to turn Earth into, like, his home planet. Like, they do that in Man of Steel. They do that in a few other movies. This is almost that.
No.
Kind of.
I
You-
don't-
you-
It's
No, I don't think it
essentially
is,
like,
but
yeah,
it's
just
similar.
using Earth's energy to create.
Yeah.
That's
something,
different. That's
I suppose.
terraforming. This is a straight
Okay,
up
but I'm
like
saying it's
this
in the
straight
same-
up like destroying.
No, but I'm saying
that's
it's in, like,
different.
I'm saying it's different, but I'm saying it's in the same ballpark. Of,
How?
like,
Yeah.
How?
just
That
like-
one's literally
of,
terraforming, but
Ron
still
said,
cohabiting.
using, like,
and
Earth's energy
inhabiting.
to, like...
But this one is just like just destroying, literally.
I don't think you get what I'm trying to say, though. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
bad.
exact
It's a
same.
bad thing.
I'm not
Oh
saying
my
it's the exact
God.
same thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's similar in the sense that it's like using Earth's energy. You know what I mean, Ron?
Yeah, I get
Well,
what you're
terraforming
saying.
is not using
Oh my
Earth's
God, who
energy.
the fuck
But in
cares?
Man of Steel, they like have machines that have their own energy to destroy.
All right, whatever,
You
moving
actually get
on.
into science nitty-gritty and pay attention. You know? Just saying. Well, you know what I mean.
I'm just saying it's a little similar.
You fuck. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I love you. I have to be Miles too, and just like bash on people. So it's just
little
Miles is
similar.
what happens when you're not here to be with your mean and contrarian self. Other people take it instead. Your spirit still lives
I'm
on.
just saying it's a little
Yeah,
similar.
it's not like Philip to ever bash anyone's opinion ever.
Yeah, but it's just heightened when Miles is not here. You know.
Okay,
What's it
so
called?
anyway, so they try to like the emergence or whatever is basically the
A celestial egg is like
is inside of the Earth, and it's going to be created into something else, or created into a new maybe celestial that's going to emerge and
destroy.
just wipe out the Earth. But they also have the thing where basically the Celestials are kind of like the gardeners of the universe, where they create new galaxies and everything to seed new lives and create like trillions of new planets and stuff like that, which is very interesting. Which is one of the things I really did like about this movie.
That part I did like.
Yeah.
That is like the moral dilemma because
I do wish they explored that a little bit more.
Yeah.
in a Marvel film, how?
Again, it's to get into more dumb nerd shit. It's like I really like that they do touch on that because the Celestials are a really big part of the like basically the ecology of the universe. There's the Celestials, which
Oh
like
my God.
they do use like world's energy and stuff to like to create more of them and stuff, but it's also a little bit like iffy, right? And then there's characters like Galactus who eat planets, right? And he kind of acts as like almost like their natural predator.
antithesis, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the check for the Celestials, so there's not too many of them just like wiping out planets and shit, but at the same time he also eats planets. So it's like this weird balance where they're both kind of bad guys. They're both like it's very interesting. Also, it's a big part of like how much they fuck with planets' ecology, which is something different too, because in this one they created both the deviants and the Eternals, which is true to the comics. They did do that, but it's more they just kind of like to go to different planets and fuck around like with people's genetics, a lot like the space jockeys from like the Alien franchise.
Oh my god, this makes me want to move to the fucking wilderness and never contact humanity ever again.
It's because it's too big brain for
so it's very
size.
It's very interesting. I do like that. Like that they at least they included that and stuff. It's cool. Like I dig it. That's the kind of shit I want to go to a Marvel movie
I would
to
love
see.
to see a Celestial series just doing that just randomly. Would they ever do this? No, because it'll be hundreds of millions of dollars.
This movie did help kind of give me confidence for Galactus, like moving forward.
You know they're setting up Galactus?
What?
In Marvel's What If, they set him up. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's literally a Galactus, a scene of Galactus eating a planet. Let's just say you'll see it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to cover it.
Okay, yeah, so back to this.
But, like I said, like seeing this, when they do Galactus or stuff like that. And if when they do, because now that they have Celestials, right, they could bring up that plot point of the ecological warfare between Galactus and the Celestials and see what happens with
that'd be awesome.
and I like that. Once again, I know why he did it. I know why Mr. Kevin Feige Overlord hasn't, because like audiences would.
Yeah, it's like again. That's why I was so surprised they did this and like they introduced the Celestials and the Eternals
in like a minute though.
Yeah,
quick.
And it's like again to borrow a quote that my buddy Jeremy. I hope you're listening. Sup, Jeremy? Like when we went to go watch this movie together, he came out. He's like, I like how. Because this is a Chloe Zao movie, like there's lines like the Celestials have been on Earth for 7,000 years fighting the Deviants. They were created, the Eternals have been on Earth for 7,000 years created to fight the Deviants, and they were created by Celestials. Like while they're standing in like a kitchen with like a greenish blue neon light behind them, like it's still somehow like to sell that line, and they still kind of make it work. Like it's funny, but yeah.
What was it called? Yeah,
It's like remember that book, like a woman swallowed a fly, so then she like swallows like a bigger bug to swallow that bug, and then she has to swallow another bug to swallow that bug. That's kind of like what's going on.
Yeah.
They do go out of their way specifically to explain why they weren't like, I don't know how many times they were like Thanos. Why are you sure with the Thanos and stuff like that? Because 500 years
because that is a very big question that I think a lot of people when they saw this trailer or like the announcement for this, they were like, why didn't they help out?
I saw a great meme where it's like, we have not interfered with humanity until now, and the shot's like it's like the opening, it's like in from the beginning where he's handing the knife to the kid and like someone memed over it and it was like a money.
That's funny. That is funny.
On the flip side, where the fuck were the Avengers when all this crazy shit was going down?
Well, how would they know?
I mean, to be fair, it was like super last minute, and I'm glad they didn't bring the Avengers into it. Again, it's like your practical nerd side may come into play where it's just like, shouldn't they ring up like the Avengers facility? Just to be like, hey,
Icarus
we could use a little backup. Yeah, he could have probably killed like a good chunk of them. But like,
he would kill all of them. Is that like Captain Marvel? You know what I mean? Probably.
Yeah, I think he would have.
Because actually, technically,
let's not get into the nerd fighting here.
This is all part of Eternals. This is all the fun stuff of Eternals. That's the only reason why we dedicate a whole day to Eternals. What's it called? Like, let's get into power levels of Dragon Ball Z for a second.
I actually
because Eternal. Let me get into nerd shit for a second. But it's like, okay, so at least what they're saying is that they're imbued with direct energy from Celestials, and the Celestials are the ones who created the Infinity Stone, right? But that's like that's how they established it.
No, I don't believe they created the Infinity Stones
because they explained it in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, they showed them using it.
Yeah,
but I think the Infinity Stones were just kind of like just like natural elements of the universe, almost. Just like this.
But they weren't. What's it called?
No, they were wielded by. Yeah, they were like wielded by characters like the Celestials. But I don't know if they're.
Wait, you keep talking.
No, for sure. But like, as far as I've kind of understood it, like basically the different Infinity Stones were kind of like natural elements that were created, like that kind of just were imbued with time, power, space, whatever, and like only incredible beings that were like that with that level could actually wield them. Someone like Thanos, who isn't eternal, and or someone like the Celestials or whatever.
Oh, you're right. It's the Big Bang that created the thing.
To quote season 3, episode 3 of Dexter. This is without a doubt the worst moment of my life.
So basically, but okay, we're gonna get to the powers. It's like Celestial. Shut up. But then, so like, because like the reason, because like Icarus probably would have been able to kill Captain Marvel, maybe because it's direct energy from the Celestials.
Yeah,
Celestial power.
maybe. That's a definitely worth the nerd argument.
Yeah, just like hand down. But
Yeah, maybe not right now. But
basically, Avengers. I think they would have been fucking killed.
It would have been a good fight. Like I think the only person who could have really stood a chance against him was someone like Vision, maybe, or like
Thor.
full level Thor, or like Hulk or something. Yeah, I think like a full
Maybe
powered Asgardian like Thor, Odin, or something could have probably taken on like Icarus or something. But that's just I don't know. That's me.
But he flew into the sun.
Yeah, I know, but he died.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Apparently.
What?
Yeah, they're hinting that he didn't.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
They're immortal.
I have a dumb nerd question too, and you keep fucking cutting me off.
What is it,
What's
Blake?
your
Were the Eternals affected by the snap at all?
No.
Could Thanos like fight the Celestials?
Yeah.
No. He would get killed by the Celestials.
He wouldn't be able to like make.
Are you talking about the Eternals? The
No,
Celestials are the gods.
so my
It's
first question
Thanos-
question was: were the Eternals affected by the snap at all?
I don't think so.
No, they weren't.
I think you could argue that they probably should have been, but like I don't think they were.
kind
And
of
I think
immune.
and I think if anything, that's probably like some Thanos bias. But like we can, that's like again going more into like the minutia. Like that's just all speculation, obviously. But like
and
I
then
don't think they
one
were.
other question: could that full gauntlet Thanos? Could he take on a Celestial?
Yes,
Okay.
he definitely could, and he does in the comics.
In the comics, yes. And this one, I mean, a full is like kind of underpowered.
Yeah.
Especially-
Oh, yeah. Definitely. The Infinity Gauntlet is way underpowered compared to how it is in the comics.
Yeah.
Like most things are. But like,
And
like,
this one,
'cause-
like in the comics, it doesn't like kill them. After
yeah, like
using it.
the Infinity War, like the Infinity Gauntlet storyline in the comics, like they literally do bring like all these cosmic forces to go up against Thanos when he's wielding it, and he's just like nuking them like left and right, like it's no big deal. Like he wipes out Celestials like it's fucking nothing. So I think that he could probably go toe to toe with a Celestial, and like probably a couple Celestials if he had the entire gauntlet.
You'll change your mind after watching What If.
Okay.
I'll say this. You'll get pissed though. You're gonna get pissed.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. I say no because I've watched What If. And
Yeah.
they said that's the power level.
All right, whatever. Let's go.
all right. Yeah.
And it's sad. But yeah, basically, yeah, that makes sense why the Avengers wouldn't. And even if they would have died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's our 30-minute conversation about that nerd shit.
But then, yeah, so let's just get into the celestial characters in hand. We have our main character, the lead,
Would
Cersei.
Whiplash be able to take on a Celestial?
you mean what's it, Whiplash? The drummer?
Yeah.
Oh, Whiplash. Oh, you mean Whiplash like Iron Man 2 villain?
Yeah.
Make your point.
No, like Whiplash, like fucking J.K. Simmons.
I think he would have like submitted all of them to death.
No, he would have terrified them.
Yeah,
The
he was
Celestials-
trying to, Icarus! Not my tempo. And he's like,
he just throws a symbol at fucking, at what was the main Celestials?
Arisham.
Arisham's head, and just cut his head off.
It's not my tempo. All right, so we have our main one, Cersei. Her, she's an empathetic Eternal. She has strong connection to humans in the Earth, and she can manipulate and transform matter through physical contact, as long as it's non-living until later. But for Richard Madden plays Icarus, who is probably the
Superman.
most basically Superman. He's the most famous Eternals from the comics.
Yeah, he's basically like the leader.
Is he always
Yeah.
an asshole villain? or-
No, not always. No, he's usually not. This is actually probably the most villainous portrayal of
Yeah.
Icarus.
Again, I was
Pretty surprised.
pleasantly surprised at times, and then also like kind of annoyed. But yeah, we'll get into that.
So he's what's it called? Yeah, he's and also they have a whole different thing why, but we'll get into it. But he could fly, project cosmic energy beams from his eyes. Basically Superman. He's basically indestructible. Like he literally flies into the sun and doesn't die.
I totally thought he did die.
Yeah,
I did
no,
too.
he's still alive. Apparently.
When you have a character named Icarus,
And he flies.
Yeah.
he's gonna fly into
He
the sun.
flew too close to the sun.
He
Can you
flew
imagine
into the
Can you
sun.
imagine just like I'm guessing just absorbing the fucking energy from the sun.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
What's it called?
Camille Nanjiani plays Kingo.
Who honestly one of the lamest powers. Just beam, like
Yeah, he
fucking
just
shots
shoots
from-
One of the
lasers
most
out of his hands.
entertaining characters, though.
He's entertaining, but like
and
his,
also
his
the
lame as
favorite
fuck.
online for some reason.
I think everyone just loves Camille because like he's
Yeah.
great. Like he's such a
except
lovable
Uriel.
dude.
Uriel
Also, his name is close to Kino, and people.
Uriel doesn't count. He fucking hates everything. Yeah, I stand by that, Uriel. Like, you're a hater, man.
He has like, dude, I love Camille and Johnny, but one of the worst. I mean, it could, dude. It's like it's because they establish that
He just walks out on the third act, which
Yeah.
that annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I can't because ideological differences, and it's like
more
what?
like Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and again,
I
you
like
could-
it for holding it though. Like I was thinking, like remember at the end of the first Suicide Squad movie when Jai Courtney's like, "I'm out," and then he's just in the finale.
yeah, he just shows up for like no reason.
like
it's
I kind of like that. I get why it's anticlimactic, but I kind of like the idea.
I get why he
that-
did it, but it's just also at the same time. To be fair, because his powers are so lame that I just didn't mind.
I feel like it's also super inconsistent with his character because he's the guy who out of all of these fucking people, even Cersei, he has the most connections to humans. Like
he's a Bollywood star.
Yeah, he's a
He loves
Bollywood star.
fame.
Yeah, he loves human shit. He's got Captain America's shield and everything.
He
like
has
he's
a
a
camera
big
guy
fan.
the entire time.
Yeah, he's the only one who has like a regular human character with him, and it's like he should probably have one of the biggest stakes, probably just next to who's the fucking dude with the
it's
kids?
like some Dexter level writing. Like here.
Yeah, where it's like he should be the one that is actually like, oh no, I don't want to lose Earth. Like I love Earth, you know, but no, he's
Because
just
suddenly
like,
out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh wait, but then if we don't let what's it called? What's it called?
the new celestial come. Yeah.
Tiamut, Celestial come out, then he won't be able to create another life." And I'm like, why do you care?
Yeah, and that's a fine argument for like 3 of the other
Yeah,
celestials.
like,
I mean,
would-
for the Eternals,
like, for
just
Sprite, that
not
made
him.
sense, you
Yeah,
know?
for Sprite, I could totally get
But
that.
the
She's the
reason
one.
why Sprite does it is because of love. So fucking
It's so stupid. Yeah, so she should have been the one that is like, no, kind of
Or
fuck
even
Earth.
Fastos. Fastos should have been the one because he abandoned humanity in 1950s after Hiroshima bombing.
Yes.
By the way, in terms of one of my like low key, he steals like has a pretty good underrated performance. Brian Tyree Henry. I always loved him from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And even for like what's it called? He was and other stuff.
He's been a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then him as Fastos, loved his. I loved his powers, which is to invent anything. It's
Yeah.
such a cool inventive variety power.
Reminds me of Micah from Heroes talks to technology.
Yeah. He's
The only
basically
mention here is it's so heartbreaking. Oh my God, I'm about to cry.
I do like him a lot. Again, I liked his motivation too. I liked how he was like again, he was the person like that's one of the biggest grander arguments about like humanity is like how far our technology can go and how often we use it like so incorrectly and stuff, and they kind of go out of their way to like say like no technology is good, war is good for humans, and it's just like, is that really the way you want to make this argument? But I guess they kind of circle back to realize that they were wrong about that, which is good. But like I do love his scene where he's standing in Hiroshima like after the bomb came off and he's just breaking
Because
down.
he contributed to it.
Yeah, it's like I helped advance their technology and this is where
I
it
will
led
say
them. Like
this.
fuck these people.
Was that
you know?
a little tasteless?
No,
I
don't think so.
That is
know
one of
that-
the big because that is one of the biggest human tragedies tied to technological
I
advancement.
know.
Yes,
I wasn't sure how I felt about.
Do you feel offended
that.
for the Japanese people?
No, I'm just saying,
do you want to?
to me, it
Should I bring
felt-
Darren?
I'm sorry. It just felt a little bit tasteless for me, but it's fine. We don't have to dwell
I
on
could
it.
see that, I guess, but like I feel like they handled it like in a
they
very
handled it well,
mature
'cause
way.
They mentioned that it was terrible incident. If the Hiroshima, they're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and if someone
that
else was
bad.
trying to argue, like, no, this is actually okay. See, they're advancing as a species. It's like, nah.
No, they didn't.
This is a
they
huge
warned it.
step back. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's terrible, and they realize that, and that's great. And I like that how he kind of
Abandons
walks out,
humanity.
abandons humanity. But again, they kind of completely undo that because then it's like, oh no, he's got he's married and he's got a kid, and it's like, oh okay, like I guess he just moved on, you know? Like
it's
it's
1950s from that.
yeah, I know
That's a big time.
that's
But-
a long time period for him to do that. But I would have
feeling wise,
preferred-
it felt abrupt because it was just a cut. But if we imagine we had a full episode dedicated to that,
yeah.
the
I mean,
series.
well,
but
yeah.
you know, it's impossible.
But
with,
it's not that though.
I know.
Wasn't Wolverine in like Hiroshima and like the Wolverine movie?
Hiroshima,
Yes, he was.
He
Yeah.
was in Hiroshima actually. It was like he saved his eventual person that was gonna try to take his.
Oh man,
Healing
yeah.
factor.
Talk about. Okay, no, we're not getting into that.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
That's not who I am anymore.
So, but I got why I guess he kind of changed back because of the family thing.
He found love, and
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, it was the most basic, cliched.
Yeah,
Reason why
it's
he's
just,
coming back.
yeah, it's just like no, he's
Yeah.
cool with humanity now because he found love, and it's
And-
like I would have liked to have seen that, you know,
Yeah.
like have
The movie's already 2 hours and 40 minutes.
No,
There's
no,
time for
I know, but I'm just
2 hours
saying,
and
like,
32, but yeah.
if they had shaved this down to just like 4 Eternals, just like 4 or 5
Yeah.
Eternals, so then we can actually focus on each of them and see why they care or don't care about humanity. That would have been way more interesting. to me.
I will say this though, because that's another thing. I saw the runtime of 2 hours and
32.
32 minutes.
Wait, let me just double check.
The other thing that fucking kind of worried me is I saw 12 characters. I was like, oh fuck. But I mean, obviously some characters get more screen time than others, but I thought that, hey, they did a pretty good job juggling this amount of like shit on the screen. Like I thought it for the most part worked.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like there's, I know I'm complaining a lot, but like there was a lot of stuff I did like about this movie. Like I was saying
37.
before.
Not 32. 37 minutes.
You can round that up.
Like one of the things I really liked,
Idiot!
was Barry Keoghan or
Barry-
Kogan.
Killing of
Barry
a Sacred
Kogan.
Deer Kid.
Barry Keoghan.
Barry Kogan, who played Druig, who was like his power is able to like control
control.
people and stuff like that. He is the exact kind of character you expect to be a villain, and I thought that's what they were setting up for.
I
And-
like that they don't though.
Yeah,
that
I was like,
such a great diversion.
I was like,
cool.
okay, I see. This is going to be the villain or
like
whatever.
especially like they really do give him like a villain scene where he storms off and like
He put his arms behind his back.
He storms off for the right reason though. That feels very like
Yeah.
it's setting him up. But
Like
no.
yeah, he's watching the fucking Spaniards just massacring the the Aztecs and everything, and like again a very good reason to be like humanity kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like sure does, and he's like fuck this. Like I just want to stop them from like from continuing. This is kind of bullshit, and they're like no we can't interfere, and he's
And he
like
just does it.
Yeah, he just does it anyway, and he's like
he's
stop
kind of
me.
the reason the band breaks up.
Yeah, he's like stop me then, do something, and then they don't, and it's like all right, and he just
And
walks
he had
off.
one of the most interesting internal conflicts. He's like, can you imagine how hard it is for me to be so empathetic and to love these humans?
Yeah.
And then ask me to stop to do nothing when I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He could like you said, and that's such a huge thing that he can actually bring peace to humanity, but like again in such a terrible way. And then they kind of just another things that frustrate me is like you see him, he's like nah, like I got over it. Like I later I didn't do it, and they're like why didn't you do it? And he's like
Time jump.
yeah, because humans
lose,
are special, and their freedom is what makes them special. And
He was
it's
my
like
favorite part of the movie.
all right,
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
And I get the
guess.
criticism. A lot of people were saying like this would have been better as an Eternals Disney Plus series or something.
Yeah,
But it just would have been hard, I guess, budget wise. Unless
and
unless,
trying
yeah,
to sell it to
Infinite-
people too.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
they were
But
like, you want an artsy fartsy Disney Plus series? I'm like, okay, I would love it personally.
yeah,
I think
I
it's
would
the
have
best.
ate it
for
up,
this.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
but try to get Blake to watch it. Like
So it's like, what's it called? I personally, for me, let's get into the last couple. Like, we got Makari, which even though she didn't do much, actually, I low key loved Makari.
Yes, I did
because,
too.
Holy shit, her power was so fucking cool to watch.
super speed.
I liked her character, her small character moments too.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know. Honestly, I for whatever reason, I thought either her or Barry Keoghan, I thought one of them was going to
Druid, yeah.
die for some reason.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was
And now,
expecting more.
if James
Eternal
Gunn had
deaths.
directed this, one of them would have died.
Yeah. Honestly, I was disappointed with the not Ajax, but I was disappointed with Gilgamesh's death. He's
Yeah,
supposed to be the strongest Eternal. Went out like a bitch.
yeah,
Yeah.
He went out like just pretty quickly. Just
And
like,
he has a
oh, he
lame
died.
fucking power. But just
He
powered
punches
fist.
people.
Just
Yeah.
powered
I was
fist.
fine with it.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
it was,
Are you
honestly,
kidding me? At
it
least
was
a hammer.
fine.
Give him a fucking hammer or something.
Yeah, that
Hey,
would have been
Thor has
cool.
a
Yeah.
hammer.
Like, yeah, exactly. I don't know. Give him something fucking
Something
whatever.
just that goes boom boom.
Or at least if he punches something, like make it look cooler
Yeah, his fist kind of just got that glowiness around it.
and just punch.
It's fine. And then
it's lame.
Angelina as Athena.
And she
Or
was
no,
cool.
Athena,
Like, she was
not
great.
Athena.
But like,
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Okay, if I were to like, let's get into this. Which Eternals would you cut? Let's start off with one, and then we'll go around if you had to cut two Eternals. For me, the Eternals that I would cut immediately, I would have cut Gilgamesh out. To be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Gilgamesh, or I know you guys were saying you liked Makari, like the super speed
Don't you
person,
dare.
but I just felt like they didn't have that much room for her, and I
I
did
thought
like
she had
her.
a great little character stuff with her though that I thought was like more developed even than characters
I
that
would've
had more
kept her-
screen time.
I would have kept it just for her because like she's great for plot reasons to get to point A to point B. To figure
This
out.
movie, as far as like any other MCU movie, it reminds me the most of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, where it set up the world and the production design in a very specific kind of like vision from the director and everything.
Paul Bettany's vision.
But the Marvel clearly didn't have enough faith to be able to step too far outside of the boundaries of what they're comfortable with, so they kind of gave them a pretty basic generic story.
Yeah.
In the first one it's like, oh, you have to find the Power Stone or whatever, and it's like, okay, cool. And then it's just like you kind of get
Some MacGuffin
lightly
story,
introduced to like most of the stories and most of the characters, and you like them, and like that's cool. But like it wasn't until Guardians 2 where I actually really loved the Guardians characters. You get way more character moments and in depth like understanding of how they are and like their emotions and everything. And like I love that. So I feel
that's by
like
far my favorite Marvel movie.
so I feel like if they do an Eternals 2, which I'm pretty sure they will, or
I think they
who
will.
knows? Honestly, with the critical reception they're getting, it's hard to
gonna
say.
because one, it's making money though. Regardless of
That's great.
Yeah, it's making money. So.
Okay, that's good. Because I feel like I would really want to see a sequel to this, because now that they've kind of shaved off a lot of the other Eternals, like Ajax, Gilgamesh, and
Even Sprite.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, now there's more opportunity to then focus on some of these characters who like I am interested in. Like I want to see more of them. So let's get into that, and then like hopefully they'll give her a little bit more like freedom to like actually get into more of her strengths. So that would be very cool. So going to that.
Wait, Fastos, he was left behind on Earth, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay. When we get into the ending, I asked because for that.
Yeah, because I think at the end it was only like Thena, Makari,
And
Droog.
Droog, yeah.
Yeah, and then
the one, and he took.
Kingo was there, but I mean he just kind of fucked off. Like
Yeah, but remember like when Harsham like he took the Eternals. He took Cersei, Kingo, and he took Fastos, right?
Yeah.
He didn't take Sprite, right?
I don't remember. No, Sprite was just like she's just out
she's
of
gone
human
already,
life now. Yeah.
Let's go. Correct us if you're wrong, super nerds.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So, what about a second Eternal? Actually, Blake, who would you have cut out? You have to cut out
probably
somebody.
Gilgamesh. Just because I don't think they do much with them other than he watches Thena.
Dude, what a waste! Don Lee from fucking Train to Busan, fucking badass. He was like the only Korean superhero, but and then they went out like a bitch. Fuck you, Marvel. Fuck, that hurts.
It was cool seeing that. Like I like that this is like easily the most diverse cast.
Oh, for sure.
Which is great. Like, I mean, again, we're talking about Kim-chan. I don't know what her ethnicity is or anything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Richard Madden, who's, like, Scottish, and Angelina Jolie, who plays a British person. I don't know. Salma Hayek, who's Hispanic. Kit Harington. Well, not Kit Harington. Kumail Nanjiani, who is Pakistani. But I think he's, like... I mean, he looks like he's living in India and stuff, and he's like working in Bollywood. So I don't know if he's supposed to be like. I mean, they're Eternals; they're not actually human. It doesn't really matter. But what he looks like.
Sprite's a ginger.
Yeah, Sprite's a ginger.
Fastos is a gay black guy.
Yeah,
and Makari is a deaf person.
Barry Cogan was Irish. Like I was a little confused at times.
He was Irish. But okay. So I'll say this about this. To be honest, like as much as diversity was cool and stuff. Yeah. Narrative wise, and also considering Celestials made them for centuries, and they're supposed to be like basically working any planet. Yeah, kind of made no fucking sense. Yeah, especially as much as I like the fact that they included a deaf character. Yeah, why would they make her deaf? Why would they make her deaf?
It's just a defect, maybe. I don't know.
No, they don't. But they don't. They're not supposed to have defects. They're Eternals, right? They're supposed to be basically perfect, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be like. Like perfect godlike beings. Yeah. So I don't know why they would make her deaf. Yeah. Like, why not just have some other superhero be deaf?
It doesn't even benefit humanity in a way too by making her deaf.
No.
And their whole purpose is to kill deviants and stuff. Like,
why was Sprite like a child?
Yeah. Like I get like in the sense that like
is Sprite always a child? I wanted to ask that.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Oh wait, no. I mean,
actually,
in the
comics,
don't know. In the comics, it ranges, but usually she goes from anti-hero to supervillain. Oh. And she changes shapes. She's all like illusionist type. Of
Oh,
person.
interesting. Yeah, because I know that they had the illusionist aspect of it. She gets a little bit of that kind of that Loki stuff,
Yeah.
which was cool. Hey, call back to Loki sneaking
Yeah.
up and stabbing people from behind.
I know. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, because I know in the comics, like one of the reasons why like some Celestials have different powers is because, like they're just given a certain amount of cosmic energy from Celestials,
Mhm.
and then they choose where they direct it to. Like someone like Makari, they put it all towards running, but they can't fly or do laser beams.
Yeah.
And then Icarus is kind of all around laser beams type of guy. Gemma
Yeah.
Chan is like for a manipulation,
Yeah.
matter manipulation.
I don't know if this is the first time that the MCU has referenced DC characters. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but
The first time in a film.
yeah,
Yes, in a film, yes.
yeah,
So that's why I was kind of like...
they reference both Batman and
And
Superman,
Superman, yeah.
which I was like, oh, okay. Like I'd heard the Superman reference, but in the trailer,
Which makes sense because Jack Kirby went between both.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like,
So
whatever.
that's why I was kind of like... I was waiting for something like that to kind of explain why. Like maybe that's why Makari is deaf, because she focused all her energy into just running. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh,
But
that'd
they
been
don't.
interesting.
Yeah, they don't because they don't have time.
But they
didn't
do that.
I would have... Okay, so the second character I would have cut out, even though I like Angelina Jolie, I would have cut her out.
Yeah.
I would have cut out Athena. I would have taken Gilgamesh. If I would even go even one step further, I would have left Ajax at the end because I kind of liked her death and that plot twist of Icarus.
Yeah, I think she was necessary as like the leader, right?
Yeah.
And she's basically the one who's like, guys, don't worry.
Yeah.
Fucking genocides, don't worry about it. Like, don't think about it.
Honestly, even though I like Barry Kogan's Drew, I might have taken out Drew. I mean, he has
I
a cool
like
thing.
it.
Because
I
if
like
we let's do this. We have to. Okay, now let's get really hard. Only 5 Celestials. 5 Celestials.
You mean
Okay.
Eternals?
Yeah. Or no,
Fucking
it's not,
idiot.
My Eternals.
Stupid fucking dumb idiot.
That was
Piece of shit.
That was a smooth brain moment. You're right. That was right. I
What are you,
deserve
dumb?
that. I know. That was right. That was fair. That was fair. See, I accept that. I was being
Okay,
a dumbass
so-
Blake right now.
Only-
Okay. So let's only 5 Eternals. You go first. Let's all talk. Let's
All right,
come
I'll
up
go
it
first, I'll go
together.
first.
Let's come up it together.
Cersei's definitely right.
Yeah, Cersei, but again, like I would strengthen her connection to humanity more because I didn't
Yeah, I would
get
too.
that as much. Like
I thought
again,
Dane would be a more prominent character because that would be like her human.
oh, we didn't even talk about fucking was
Dane
it
Whitman's
Dane,
a cool
Dane
character.
Whitman?
He's
Yeah.
only in 2 scenes.
Yeah, Dane Whitman's really cool. I just started getting into like the
his
Black
character's
Knight
dope.
comics
The
and
Ebony
stuff.
Blade?
Yeah, so cool. So I was excited to see him in there. I was like, I don't know how the fuck they're gonna like really shoehorn him in there.
I'm sure
And
he'll have his moment to shine.
damn, do they just kind of shoehorn him in? And he felt like it was a Marvel. Like the studio was like, hey, look, you need to include
It's a Black Widow,
Knight.
Iron Man 2.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like we need this guy in there. But even Black Widow did something.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
He
was
got the
just-
blade.
Yeah, he was just there, and I was like, oh, okay. And then they're like, you got to talk to your uncle. His uncle's a dick in the comics. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. And it's like, I don't know. It felt really pointless. But I mean, cool. Black Knight's in the MCU. Yay.
All right, so we all agree Cersei
Anyway,
and Icarus,
yeah,
right?
Cersei's
Cersei.
and Icarus, yeah.
Yeah.
She needs to be there for the connection. Icarus is there to be like again,
villain.
yeah, the villain / like the person who I think he should be the one again. I think if they showed a little bit more of him just
Being bored.
yeah.
He's supposed
just,
to be bored with humanity. That's
he
what
just
his
has
character was.
yeah, just nothing. He doesn't
Not
really
fascinating.
connect
Yeah.
to humans. He's just like again.
They
If
didn't
kind
show
of
that
leaned
well.
it,
Yeah.
if they leaned a little bit more into that like Superman complex, something like Zack Snyder was really trying to do, where he's like kind of so far above humanity, it's like why would he really feel grounded or connected to them? He doesn't. Like he wasn't raised by like a family in Kansas. He was just like he's a fucking god that descended to Earth. So he's kind of like humans or whatever. Like that's just that I'm fine. Sorry. Anyway, Kingo should have been there too. He should have had more to do, I think. But like
Yeah.
I think
I would have changed his powers though. His lame as fuck. It was just-
switch him up. Do something.
If you're gonna
different,
do
man.
it like the laser beam, at least make it so it's more powerful than Icarus's.
or just more
Games.
visually appealing. You
Yeah.
know? Like have him like shoot like
Like he could use that
laser
to fly,
rings.
maybe.
I don't know.
Have
yeah,
him be more
yeah.
creative, like shoot it in the ground and going
Yeah.
up.
I mean, they could do something like that, right? Because
Yeah.
they kind of had Cersei's like powers evolve a bit.
Yeah.
So like something like that would be cool.
Or maybe coming out of his feet or some shit. Dude, they're gonna do so much.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, like,
Whatever.
Come on,
Kingo.
evolve his quirk.
Kingo. Because I guess like like you need the comic relief, I guess, right?
And I'm
He's-
sorry, I'm gonna make a real strong argument for this. Druig and Fast Girl have to be in it too.
Oh.
Because okay,
We also got to think
one-
for plot reasons and also
I know.
for what we like. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Oh,
fair.
well, let's hear. Let's hear.
okay. One, I think that Druig's like entire thing is just really interesting, and if you did tighten it up to 5 characters, you could make him a more interesting character. And then with what's Fast Girl called? I'm sorry,
Makari.
with Makari, like you keep them in a relationship, like or their kind of relationship they're in now, and then maybe you can even have one agree and one like disagree. Maybe like Makari's like, you know, it is our original purpose, and Druig's like so attached to like wanting to better humanity that he's like, no, like I think like we have to stop this, you know, just to make it a little interesting.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
that's a good
I don't know
argument.
if I totally agree. I think like
By the way,
Sprite
Ajax doesn't count because she dies.
Yeah,
So,
fine.
yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
yeah.
Because I was like, as long as I think Ajax does have to be there, unless you give like her entire role to Icarus, which I think would also work.
That could work too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically just have him being the leader just from the beginning, and who's the one who is like again deathly loyal to the Celestials.
Yeah.
It's like no.
And that could work.
We
I think
have
that works
to listen
even
to
better.
yeah. So cut Ajax, just give it to Icarus, and then again it makes it much easier to understand why he would be a villain in the end too. Yeah, although I would say again, I'm sorry.
I don't know
gonna-
how you can take out Fastos though.
Yeah, like I don't want to lose Fastos because I feel like he has the strongest connection on the other side to humanity, where again his technology, and
yeah.
again so we're such a big part about how our technology can like just corrupts and it can really fucked up, but it also does amazing things. So it's like to see that conflict in him where he sees both sides of it, where it's like, you know, I helped them build these like again World War II with Hiroshima. Horrible, like again, but like just a decade earlier with World War One and seeing all the technological advancements and how like the ravages it did to humanity, like yeah, it's just or fucking Vietnam, like you know there's
Exactly.
plenty of stuff you can see. So yeah,
I agree with you that like Cersei, Icarus, and Fastos. As much as I love Kingo and much as I think he's a cool thing, if we're just talking about pure narrative things,
Yeah, cut King.
I would have cut Kingo.
Oh,
Honestly.
man.
As much as I love Kingo, I actually think he's one of the best parts of the film. But like, he doesn't really do much for the plot that's significant. It doesn't
He's
really
mostly
add
a
much.
fun character.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
have any thematic relevance to it at all either. Unlike Droog with his stuff, and also visually, Makari is just such a cool visual character. Like you do need that visual element to it, and also
Yeah.
plot wise, she could get to anywhere in like
Yeah.
a half a second.
Yeah.
So that you could use that for writing.
It's funny enough. I would definitely argue that she's like the weakest character, and
Yeah, she's the
needs-
weakest.
probably next to Thena, honestly, because
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie just
I
had,
think I
just
like
didn't
her
have
more
much
than
to do.
Thena.
So,
No,
but
I
the
do
thing with
like her
though-
more.
But the thing with
I'm just
Makari, they
saying.
never tried to give her more depth on they firmly established her as
Deaf.
yeah, no. They firmly established her as just like a visual character. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of like just it's
But
just
like
a
I said, I do
side
think they
character.
did a good job, like kind of giving her little character moments with
Yeah.
her and Druig.
and reading books super fast.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
cool.
I thought there was like a lot of life to her character, even though she didn't have a lot of screen time, and I really appreciated
And she
that.
could have
Yeah,
been the
I
she
like
could have
how-
been the comic relief, honestly.
Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
she'll have a bigger role in the next one since we're down a few.
Yeah, I liked how she was just collecting a bunch of really cool artifacts, including Excalibur. Which, by the way, again, I thought they were gonna do more. I feel like that's remnants of like an older script when they pull out Excalibur and they're like, "Oh, you know, King Arthur had a thing for you," and it's like, ha ha ha. Because again, the King Arthur mythos has a lot to do with Black Knight, so
Yeah.
maybe there's gonna be a flashback with like the previous
and all
Black
that
Knights.
stuff.
Yeah, Percival, who is the original descendant of the of like or the
The
ancestor,
Ebony Blade, yeah.
ancestor of
That held the Ebony Blade, right?
yeah. So I don't know if they're gonna do something like that. I'm glad that they didn't though, because it's like we do not need that in this movie.
No.
There's too much other stuff going on. So
So I get Cersei, Icarus. Okay, so why did you cut off Fastos?
Honestly, just because I have such a strong liking for the other two characters. I'm biased.
That's fair. Yeah, no,
I want to. If it's 6, I would include Droog.
Oh, really? You want to keep the Korean guy around?
Wait, no. I know.
Droog's
No,
Oh
Wait,
no, my bad. Sorry, that's Gilgamesh.
Whoa.
My bad. That crossed.
I know Barry Keoghan. He looks so Korean, right? It just oozes, oozes.
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was a little offensive that he was playing a Korean character. I was like, what?
So it's hard because there's so much, cool thematic stuff. Honestly, if I were to choose between, I love Makari's visual stuff though. If I were to just thematic relevance, because Druig, as much as like his thematic relevance there, but like in terms of actual powers of like like let's just say like we get into the final fight, Droog's pretty useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how what is he gonna do with the powers, right? I mean, unless they beef up the powers and he can actually control like he can control animals
he can like
and stuff like
maybe
that.
he can
Yeah.
try and control other Eternals, but it's like a struggle, and they could have done a whole like mental.
I
mind
thought
battle
that's what they
thing.
were
Yeah,
gonna do
but
with
they
like
didn't.
him showing up against Icarus. Like I wanted him to be like, listen, I've never tried controlling another Eternal before. Like I thought that's what they're gonna do. Like where he's like, if we're gonna go up against Icarus, he might be their best shot because he's the only person that's gonna actually could possibly do something to like slow him down because like he's out. Because I believe that he's the kind of guy who would never intentionally try to control the minds of a fellow Eternal. So like to him to have to like take on that task or something, and then have to go up against someone like Icarus, it's like it's a huge deal, but they didn't do that. But
Yeah, so I guess
it's like it's kind of disappointing.
I guess for me, it's Cersei Icarus. So let's just like Cersei Icarus solidified. For me, third spot, I think has to go to Fastos. Ron, I agree. What about you?
Yeah, I think Fastos.
Yeah, we haven't eliminated the last few yet, but I'm saying it has to, like, for
Okay,
plot.
I'll give him
Okay.
Fastos.
Fastos. So now we're down to our last two spots. For me, I'm okay with taking out Sprite. As much as it's a cool, interesting thing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like they have things for Sprite to do that aren't fully realized. Like, so yeah, I can take out Sprite.
and for our listeners, they're wondering why we're not going super in depth, because it's more interesting than the actual plot. Eternal. You guys go watch the film.
It's
What's it
fun.
called?
I'll say this: I had a fun time watching it, and I don't like fun. I like my miserable art films.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
this
wait,
is a
actually-
little bit miserable.
If it's 3. So 4 and 5, that could actually go to Makari and Drew.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right. We have
so
our
that's our five.
Eternals, folks.
Cersei,
Brought
Icarus.
to you by Half a Clue Movie
So
Review.
Makari,
You hear that,
much
Kevin?
better, fucking condensed.
We're gonna send you an email, Mr. Feige. And
And maybe in the second film they could have introduced more Eternals. That's what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy too. Mantis
yeah,
was
well,
in
they
Volume
do
2.
introduce a new one at the end. It's Euros, played by Harry Styles.
Styles.
When
Really
he showed
quick-
up, sorry, go.
No, you go ahead. You're first.
I was gonna say when they showed when okay, first when Patton Oswalt was the voice of like the little troll guy, I was like,
I loved it actually.
yeah, that was great. I love Patton Oswalt. I love seeing him in anything, and especially nerdy shit because I know he's such a huge nerd too. So like him coming in as a little drunken troll, I was like, that's great. But man, did the CG look awful?
Yeah.
It looked really bad. But whatever. And then Euros walked in, and I was like, who is that dude? I'm like, that guy looks familiar, and I didn't know until afterwards. Rosie was like, oh, that was Harry Styles. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, I didn't recognize him. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
but
I mean,
okay.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's been like going up and coming with that.
I've only seen him in Dunkirk.
And he was good there.
He was
Yeah,
good
no,
in
he was
Dunkirk.
good. I
like
mean, he just
that
didn't
movie.
really have many lines to say or
I think
anything.
that's
So
fine, like,
that's why I didn't
Leatherface.
like.
Yeah.
I can't say strongly
I'm
that
sure
like
he'll
he's a
be
good
fine.
actor or not. But
And also,
yeah.
like he was almost the prince in Little Mermaid, but he actually rejected the role.
oh
Good
Yeah.
for him.
yeah, I was gonna say
Good for him. What a great call.
He like apparently read the script.
Cool.
So he has his little alien servant thing, like introduce him, and I was like,
And the Pip Troll, his power is he teleports. That's how they got him.
so Pip,
Oh,
his
cool.
little servant Pip like walks up, and it's like brother of Thanos. And I was like, oh man, I don't know if you've heard, but this probably isn't a feature anymore, brother. You probably shouldn't be advertising that.
No, that was cool. I liked them introducing that. So we get another Eternal, and the idea that there are more Eternals out there, which
Yeah.
they already kind of said
But
before.
I do think is that I think like Star Fox, he's supposed to be a very charming guy that like
yeah.
could seduce
Star
anybody
Fox.
in the thing, and that is Harry Styles. Like he oozes
Yeah.
charisma and stuff.
No, it's
Yeah.
We'll see. Again, I didn't know how to feel about it first because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't have anything really against Harry Styles. Whatever, like that's
Yeah.
fine. But I don't know.
For me, like after Dunkirk, I was kind of like, oh, I see the potential there. For me, I really was like, because that's hardest to do without that film. Like it's hard to act because
I honestly-
Not much dialogue. Yeah.
I don't care about roles until they're played. Like, this wasn't really him playing a role yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
was there.
He's got the look. I like the outfit. That was
Yeah.
cool.
And yeah, and let's get Aaron Dance Date Women just there. I think he's perfect casting as that character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like again that little the second post credit scene is him actually trying to pull out the obsidian blade and almost touches it,
Death
and
is
I
my
really
reward,
like
right?
how it looks. It looks so freaking cool, and
The
I like
sound
that.
design. Oh,
Yeah, as he's reaching for it, you see like the blade, like it almost looks like little crystal features that are drawn to his hand.
yeah.
really cool. The Obsidian Blade is like really interesting in the comics. Like basically, it's kind of like a cursed weapon. It's like every time you wield it, it feeds off of your negative energy. So
my god!
I know.
I know.
So,
It's the opposite of Thor, where it's like it's for the unworthy.
yeah, exactly. It's like really, it is like the anti Mjolnir, where it's like, yeah, you're supposed to kind of be a piece of shit, and you're supposed to like hate yourself as you're using it. Like it feeds off of your anger and rage. So he purposely kind of does stuff that like makes him feel shitty, so that it makes him stronger. So it's like
It
that's
has a bunch of like magical like properties and
Yeah.
powers, and it could. I think in one comic he chopped the head off a Celestial with the ebony blade.
wow. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like at one point they show the ebony blade, there's a part like in the new comic run for Black Knight, which is the one I've been reading. It's like there's like they're dealing with I forget some kind of thing, and like Thor is there, and they still call in Dane Whitman. They're like, hey, we need your help, buddy, for this, like because you've got that one big power shot with the ebony blade, which is really cool. So. Like yeah, there's real potential there for it to kind of like almost be on that level of Mjolnir and stuff, yeah, which is like pretty fucking awesome. And it's a sword that's black and it has like dark power, like that's great.
He has the coolest artworart too.
Yeah,
Right,
and
yes.
his armor could look really badass or it could look kind of goofy. Depends which way they go with it.
I
But-
want it to be just like filled with energy.
yeah,
It's
and he rides a
unstable.
Pegasus, and he has like he has a Pegasus. Okay, I'm sorry, Blake.
No, I actually.
I'm sorry.
I didn't do that on purpose. But
Okay.
I didn't do that on purpose, but it does sum up how I feel.
But yeah, he rides a Pegasus, and he has like a Billy Goated head, like butler. That's great.
All right, I'm out.
All right.
Cool. So, but then, and then let's talk about my least favorite performance and middling performance. Least favorite, actually. Well, let's get into favorites, actually. Performances. My favorites, Brian Tyree Henry, Kumail Nanjiani. They were probably my two. Even though
What are their characters? I'm sorry.
Kumail Nanjiani is the guy, Kingo. He's the guy who shoots.
Oh yeah.
And Brian Tyree Henry is the fastest. He's the guy who creates technology. What's it called? In our cheat sheet.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. I think Barry Cogan, he didn't have too much to do, but like I really liked his performance for the most part. His accent was a little distracting at times, but I think that was not really. I don't know.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, why do they have accents?
I don't know.
Like,
I was
why would? How do they know? How did the Celestials know who the Irish are before they even
yeah, I was
made?
like, this is 5,000 years before there was ever a single Irishman. Like, I don't know.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, whatever.
You mean he had an Irish accent for every planet they destroyed?
Richard Madden had a Scottish accent before he showed up. I don't know. I want to say I like Richard Madden. I was like so kind of like mixed of like whether
I don't think it's fault. I think he's good though.
yeah, like I liked his performance a lot of the times. I felt like I got his pain for like what he was doing at the same time, but like it's just like it was kind of a weird kind of give and take. At certain moments where I was like, I don't know if I dig it that much. Like I feel like I was really waiting for that moment for his character like to really pop out to me where I was like where I was gonna really love him, but I felt like it didn't quite land as well. I think Gemma Chan as Cersei was pretty good.
Yeah,
I liked her. Yeah, I liked her.
She was good.
Yeah.
She was good. She was previously in Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's like the one Marvel movie I have not seen.
Yeah, she was like, I think she plays. Oh gosh, she just plays a Minerva, and she's just like random blue alien that gets killed by Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Okay.
What's it called? It's so.
Yeah, I think pretty much all their performances were good.
Yeah,
though.
Liam
solid.
McHugh, even though I don't think it's like her fault, maybe just because I didn't really like the character.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, probably. It's like not a bad performance. Probably just like maybe because it's like, it just didn't feel like Chloe Zhao. A lot of them didn't feel like a Chloe Zhao performance.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think she would have pretty much brought any of these people to any of her films. Maybe Angelina Jolie, honestly, but that's probably the only actor I would have seen her using.
Yeah, I could see her in a film like this. And I like Don Lee, but it's super middling. It's not even his fault. It's just like didn't get stuff
He
to
didn't have
do.
anything
Nah,
to
yeah,
do.
he was just around.
just wasted.
He just punches.
But really, the most middling performance, Bill Skarsgård as Deviant Crow.
Oh God, I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
Bill Skarsgård. I didn't even know Bill Skarsgård was in this fucking movie until I saw the credits.
Well, the good
and I was
news
like,
is he's
"What?"
CGI, so maybe they'll give him another.
Yeah,
role.
Bill Skarsgård deserves so much more. And then no, he's just the pointless fucking deviant character. That was the one thing that I really really just didn't like, and I thought I was gonna like it. I was like, this kind of seems like it's building towards something that could be interesting, and it didn't go anywhere. I was just
I
like,
thought he was
"All
gonna
right."
team up with them for a moment. Like, okay, because like my
No,
idea was his
yeah,
whole
like-
thing is he's like, hey, we're all just pawns in the game, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're basically equally used. So I was thinking like he kills Gilgamesh, and I was like, this could be like actually a really interesting thing for Athena if she can forgive him, and then like, and then maybe they're like, hey, we're actually on the same level, and maybe he helps them take down Icarus. Like I thought maybe they do that,
that
but
could've
then
been cool.
That could've been
but then they
interesting.
just do nothing.
No.
Although I will say, I don't know why that moment where she like forges the weapon and cuts him in half, the theater went fucking ape shit, dude. The theater, everyone was like cheering and clapping.
They totally
like,
missed the point of like he's a tragic character.
Yeah, like he's
no, people like I'm not, dude. Some guy was like, "Damn!" Like that was like the loudest I've ever heard in theater. I was like, "This."
Like I said, there's a reason why they don't make it more nuanced or do that. It's because he knows his audience. He knows the intelligence levels of his audience. He's like, I know you guys say you want nuance, but I give you nuance. You guys don't come to the theaters.
Yeah.
Let's just.
it was frustrating because again, like I thought they were building towards something. I don't know exactly where they're gonna go with it.
But
and
no,
then
He had an interesting speech when against sentience.
Yeah.
When he was just like it just pawns, like it was like pawns in games, and he was saying like I hate you guys all. We're just trying to survive.
yeah, and it's like they are just kind of surviving. I mean, they're terrifying monsters, but also they have
That's
as
their
much
purpose.
right to society. Yeah, to live as like any other kind of predator or like animal. Like we're predators, you know.
Yeah.
But nah, whatever. It just kind of happens. Just like good. This just whatever.
It helps him for a little bit too, and then
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, like again, I thought like when we showed up, I was like, is he gonna do something? Is he gonna team up
Also,
with them?
does he not show up and like go, hey, something really interesting is happening? Like he shows up in the middle of like the fucking climax of the
Yeah,
movie.
it just felt like he was just intruding on there. Like they might as well have just had Black Knight just fly in too, because it's just like, oh, well, fuck it, whatever.
They should have just turned around and been like, we're busy. Do you not see a fucking weird sentient god forming in the fucking ocean, dude?
I know we're busy.
Maybe you could show up in the sequel, okay?
Yeah, I guess because it makes sense why he came because he took Ajax's memories.
Yeah,
So he knew where the emergence was.
Yeah,
And I guess, and also he doesn't have super speed, so he just literally just
He got on a plane.
he can run, he can go fast.
yeah, right. Like he's just
going-
swimming.
Yeah,
Oh,
He
man.
got on a plane and flew over there.
that is low. How did he even
How
get
the
there?
fuck cares?
in
Oh,
time?
just the middle. Okay, one of the things I'll have to talk about.
Fuck this film. Actually, he just went down a full rating. Oh my god, that's stupid as fuck. Fucking Kevin, what the fuck you doing, Bubby? Oh gosh, no pizza for you.
Okay,
Okay, so let's. Oh fuck, yeah, fuck this film. So yeah, was Chloe Zhao able to survive the? I used to like it, now I hate it. Was Chloe Zhao able to survive the Marvel machine? I say this completely. Fucking no. Let's just go
to an extent, yes, but I think mostly nah.
Because her cinematographer we talked earlier that was like her constant one. And this one, they decided to say, "Fuck you, Chloe. You can't bring your fucking cinematographer." You know who we're gonna you could use? Ben Davis. What did Ben Davis do? Great cinematographer, by the way. He has done a lot of stuff. But when he gets in a Marvel film, he's really just put like someone's like basically taking a shit on his face. So you have to do exactly what we say. It's Ben Davis who, like I said, he made Layer Cake, Stardust, Kick Ass, Seven Psychopaths, all films that I love.
Stardust,
Look nice.
great. Yeah.
He did Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Which looks really good, by the way.
Yeah, but certain scenes, right?
Yeah.
But that's like I think the second one when he replaced him and
It
it
does
looks a lot
improve,
better.
yeah.
And then Avengers: Age of Ultron, muddy looking film.
Yeah, probably one of their worst looking films.
I fucking hate Age of Ultron with a goddamn passion.
Yeah, I will say Age of Ultron, just in terms of the cinematography, was a step up from the first Avengers.
Yeah, because that one's just like
The first
it's a great
Avengers
one.
like kind of more leans so much into the character stuff that it's like forgivable though.
Yeah,
yeah, but we're just talking about basic
Yeah.
Yeah,
cinematography.
just how it looks like a
Kind of
TV
flat.
movie.
Yeah, it looks very
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah, and
Even
which,
like that famous shot that everybody likes so much has always
so
just looked
flat looking.
so ugly and like
it's
boring.
not bad. That's like arguably the
It's
best
a cool-
shot in the
it's a-
film.
It's a cool. No, I agree with
No,
like
but I'm saying-
it's a cool camera movement.
Yeah.
But the lighting and
but
stuff.
for their
Yeah.
like iconic shot, like even as a kid, that just looked like something out of Heroes to me. Like just them like standing in that circle, like
Yeah, most of it looks like I said, like it's very flat lighting, like we're saying, in like a TV movie kind of style, which is too bad. I think it's just Joss Whedon just carried that over, and maybe they just didn't want to risk it. Maybe I don't fucking know. Yeah. But yeah, it was just
even
disappointing.
his Serenity film was better.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
So Doctor Strange, also like cool,
flat.
Yeah,
flat, it's like again, it's
cool, but it's all the visual effects sequences.
The
actual lighting stuff.
Yeah, that's some.
I like the scene where he's driving at night.
I think this is easily his best looking Marvel film.
I would agree. Yes. But yeah, it's definitely
because there were moments where I was like really into like the shots where like they're again like where it shows them just speaking. Like a lot of the lighting actually looked really good. There's good color grading for the most part.
Yeah.
Like
all the non-blue screen scenes.
Yeah, even
like the scene in the forest.
Yes, I was gonna say like the fight scene in the forest where they're fighting the deviants, and it's just like this misty fog, natural lighting stuff where they're fighting. I was like, this is awesome. I was like, this is some great shit.
In the film.
Yeah, that I would want to see more of, and there were a good amount of sequences like that I liked, but yeah, no, I think cinematography speaking, this is one of the best looking Marvel films. That doesn't say too much, but like there are
also did Captain Marvel, which is ugly.
There are good looking Marvel films. You know, people always forget like the Guardians movies, and even Black Panther.
Too.
Man, Black Panther.
I think
for the most part, for the most
besides the CGI,
yes.
Not even the CGI. It's literally the last third act. Like outdoors.
That's the worst part of the entire movie, though. Is the last third act.
The fucking when they were doing the ritual duel, and you saw like when they do a shot from him, like when he looks up and he sees all these CGI people.
I think with Black Panther, I like the energy of the filmmaking, which has a little bit more than normal.
They had a cool one take, in the casino.
Cool one takes, or like the shot of Killmonger where the camera goes upside down for some reason.
Yeah, that was awesome.
There's cool shit, but the Guardians 2 looks pretty good. But there are a lot of flat, boring, fucking looking.
Yeah, like
honestly, all of them look flat and boring, except Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and maybe this one.
Yeah, and I think like Infinity War also had some really good looking stuff too. Like there's a lot of sequences that like actually blew me away. Most of them being in space, but once they
space stuff because that's lighting is like super controlled and like it's stuff.
But like when they were like fighting out in the field in Wakanda, looked kind of meh. Yeah. But like most of it, I really dug. But
like the Thanos scene when they broke Thor's ship.
Yeah, I feel like
that looks great.
Yeah, I feel like that was what's it called? Like
that's a powerhouse of an opening scene though.
The Russo, the Russo brothers like learned from I think Civil War, which is arguably one of the most bland looking Marvel films ever.
They're all running at each other in the airport.
It's just like
blank airport.
Yeah, it's just like so just like meh to look at, which was just really disappointing.
Concrete.
But that's the one where again the story and like the actual like energy of the movie I love, but like the visuals just like were meh.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, well, I guess like pre-Disney acquisition of the films, like the Thor. No. Besides the actual film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they were shot on actual films. They actually have proper black value.
Yeah. To be honest, I have not seen the OG Thor since literally theaters.
Oh, I watched it like I think last week.
Why?
No, because like I do that with every Marvel film that comes out. I try to watch all the Marvel films.
That's
every time.
Insanity, dude.
It's sometimes like
That's
sometimes.
insanity.
Sometimes like I skip some parts where it's just like
I can kind of get doing that for Endgame or something.
Yeah.
But every
I'm not
Black
watching that.
Widow came out. You watched all the fucking Marvel movies.
It's bad. But I do it like when I'm like driving in the car, but I'm not actually watching the film, but I'm hearing the audio and stuff. And I do that for films I don't like. But But then what's it called?
I'm sorry,
the Dark World.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok. That's actually another. I think it looks pretty good for the most.
I think some scenes, like that scene where
it's very well composed.
Valkyrie like saw like the flash. That was. That's probably one of the best looking sequences of all Marvel.
Or where they're like they're fighting on the Rainbow Bridge. For the most part,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I think again, it's very well composed. I feel like they storyboarded it very well, and they had I want lighting. This big shot of like Thor flying in, covered in lightning, and then falling into like a crowd of like zombies or whatever. That looked cool. And then there's other moments where he's like he's with the fire guy, Surtur, and he's like fighting in his place. I thought that looked awesome. It's like there's lots of color and stuff, which
Moving
I love
on.
about that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I think it's important because
we're almost at 3 hours.
we're all talking about it.
Yeah.
What's going on? 2.5, right? Yeah, what's called. But Yeah, I kind of see where you're going with that. I'm hoping with Thor: Love and Thunder, he takes a volume 2 approach and he gets like a lot more handle with the color grading, because it's just like it's not even like, maybe it's not even the lighting. I think it's just really the color grading, like how they color graded. They purposely make it look like that, like
they
clean, generic, flat look, clinical look to it.
This is a Marvel film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, Thor: The Dark World, not in like, you know, any of the scenes with the Dark Elves and shit.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I think Patrick H. Wilson does a fantastic video breaking down like why Thor: Dark World is one of the best looking Marvel films.
No, I get that, especially
like,
the scenes on Asgard.
Yes, like it's like, because I think like what's it called? Just like the way that he's back, like, because Alan Taylor knows how to make a good looking shit, because HBO all the fucking way. I don't know why. It's just with this one, it's better, but it's not. I don't know. I'm disappointed.
I disagree for the most part. I feel like this is like one of the best looking Marvel movies, and
But that's not saying much.
of lighting and color grading. Yeah,
I agree with that statement. But
another thing, I feel like this movie felt a lot like a DC movie. Like I felt,
I know what you mean by that.
Oh,
but
okay, I see
better
what you mean.
than a lot of them.
yeah, like it felt like like a decent, good DC movie. Which
like
there are a few, but
A
like
couple.
Yeah.
like the Force stuff, or like even like when the ship first comes, that felt very Chloe Zhao.
yeah,
And that looked really good. But like, and some of the London stuff, but then like whenever they're in, like even the last Icarus scene, it's like for me was like not as exciting to look at and stuff like that. But then the celestial stuff looks cool. I don't know, it's weird. All right, we'll go on and on about this. Let's get into the final thing. Let's get the final ratings. Let's start off with songs my brothers taught me. Automatically, let me give Ron's rating. He puts it in the museum. Yes.
I did not watch that one.
So when you don't watch it, it's automatically in the museum. What's it called? All right. So what about you, Blake?
These movies are harder to rate for me just because they're more contemplative kind of movies that you more take in. So a lot of these are subject to different ratings in the future, but Songs for My Brother taught me, I'm going to put that one, I'll stream that one.
Just
Ads or premium?
Premium.
Okay.
Definitely premium.
All right. What about the writer, Ron?
for me, that's like originally I wrote down premium streaming, and I feel like it feels more like harsh than it is, but it's like more of a personal preference. But like I'd put it on the shelf. I would like to own this movie. That'd be good. Yeah.
I would also put The Rider on the shelf.
Same. You know what this is, because both my ratings for Rider and No Man's Land is kind of like on the shelf / in the museum, but not gonna lie, just because part of my criteria for in the museum is also kind of like its importance in film history and just like what it's done. And I don't think it's, as much as I love the film, it's great. I personally might put it in the museum. I just can't. It's on the shelf. Yeah. Because it's like, I don't think it's like that important of an indie film.
Yeah, and same for Nomadland, where
Songs for My Brother?
Oh, it's not from I didn't say on the shelf.
okay,
Yeah, that's on the shelf. So on the shelf.
yeah, Nomadland
Because
is
I would consider Songs to My Brother to be kind of an important movie if it takes off. If more people watch it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, because it's and I'll get into why when I say Nomadland, the rating I give, that why I can't put it in that final in the museum thing. There's a reason why, but go on.
Nomadland, I'll say that's another one that's on the shelf. It's just a really good looking movie. I mean, it won Oscars, best director for I think a lot of really good reasons, like what we said before. So yeah, I'll put that one on the shelf as well.
Nomadland is streaming for me, premium.
Oh, that's fair. And honestly, I understand with those films where it's like it's a very certain type of film taste and film going experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason why Terrence Malick shit doesn't do well. You know what I mean? I don't know how he still gets movies made.
I don't like it. It's just... In streaming, I feel like also our rating system is a little... If there was more, there would be different. Like, a guy would put like...
Streaming premium is not bad. You have to pay for streaming per service and stuff like that.
I'm glad we're doing rankings, because I think that'll clarify my opinions a little bit more.
All right, let's go to Eternals. I'll go with Blake first.
I'd say streaming, which is actually kind of a good
ads or premium.
And that's actually a pretty huge rating for a Marvel movie for me. Most of my Marvel movies are quote unquote stream on an airplane.
Yeah, for Eternals, I'm gonna say premium streaming too. There's a lot that I liked about it, but there's also a lot of stuff that was frustrating me about it. So, like, the more I've thought about it, the more of like those frustrations have kind of come to the surface. Where I'm just like, man, I wish they did this or that. But yeah, trying to. Yeah, it's. I was gonna say keep my biases out of it, but it's my own fucking rating, so like, whatever. I'll say premium streaming.
I was with you guys on premium streaming, but after talking about all the
my
flaws,
God.
and even like it's not the main reason, but like I was thinking like, wow, I guess they really give a fuck. I was like, how the fuck did Stephen Crow like travel 6,000 miles and like?
Oh my God, really?
That's not the main reason. That's not the main reason. But also we're talking about cinematography. Like this is one of the better looking, probably like number 3 or 2 in best looking Marvel films. And how compromised it is, and the overabundance of characters, and us coming up with a better fucking team. Yeah, I went down to bargain bin with the Eternals.
Oh.
It went from streaming premium all the way to bargain bin.
That's I get it though.
Yeah, it's like
It's a flawed movie.
Yeah, I kind of understand. It's like for people that really like this movie, I get it, and same as
like
also
this.
people who
It's my favorite bargain movie of all time.
I don't understand. I think it's getting too much hate from like critics and stuff. I know fans, the audience seems to like it, which is good, but. Yeah, I think it's getting way too much hate than it deserves, but I understand that.
I actually understand why the ratings, but it's not that. It shouldn't be that
it's
low.
not. It's not that bad. It's far from the worst
I get
Marvel
it.
movie.
I want to say one last thing about Eternals before we do our other 2 things. Like, okay. It's very flawed, obviously. We've talked about a lot of the flaws.
Yeah.
But like the reason I like it is that like a lot of Marvel movies, even the good ones, I just like I'm not entertained. I'm like even fucking like Shang-Chi, which I liked a lot. Or I like parts of. It's just like I feel like I'm looking at my watch. I feel like I'm like, oh, is this gonna wrap up? Like, oh, blah blah blah. I don't care. Marvel movies, they just feel like it's all filler to me, and I know that like obviously Eternals is not immune to that. But I gotta say this: the reason I think I gave it a higher rating than most Marvel movies is because I really did look at my watch and saw 2 hours and 40 minutes and went like, I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to hate every second and I'm going to want to go home. But I actually it actually engaged me because I found it entertaining, which is the purpose, right?
Yeah.
So I was entertained. It's not a perfect movie, but I was entertained.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I was engaged too and stuff like that. And that's why it was originally like premium streaming and stuff. But just once getting down to nitty gritty and technical aspects and everything like that, it felt pretty short, I guess. Yeah, and what's it called? And whatever potential it had, it kind of went down, and it's a mess of art house cinema and also Marvel films.
I wouldn't even call any of it art house though.
It's the closest thing to art house.
I would want them to.
Oh, there's good shots in it. It's art house.
Like a lot of people are saying, like it's like I want it to go further into that, and hopefully they can in the sequel. But
Not possible.
I don't think I'd consider any part of it art house.
I would be fascinated to see. I'm fascinated. I hope they get Chloe Zao back because I do want to see what she can do in space.
Like
You know
I
what
saw
mean?
a weird YouTube edit of like if you remove all the narration, just like do the celestial sequence and stuff. It's basically her version of Terrence Malick's Tree of Life.
Yeah. I heard a lot of it too. Like the music, just kind of like undercutting a lot of like the big moments too.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's the weird thing is. All right, let's go. Favorite amongst your Chloe Zhao films. I think we might all have the same one.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Zoraida.
You?
Yeah, the writer.
The writer. That sounds pretty
Very
obvious.
solid.
Yeah, I think it's like her most underrated film. Even though Songs of My Brother is also I think up there, but like everyone puts Nomadland, but Writer for me just
Yeah, no, I like it a lot more.
If
than
I'm gonna
Nomadland.
rewatch any of them, it's probably the writer.
Yeah.
Watch her movies if you want to be depressed.
It's not even that depressing. I think because the writer, like all the films
shoot a
end
horse.
on some type of hope.
Yeah, but they're still kind of.
Yes,
they're not like-
I know.
The writer's not exactly what I'd call a happy movie, though.
It's not like Justin Child where like Gook ends with like the death of a child and burning down their business. Lou Bayou then getting deported.
I know.
Yeah. But this one like
It's very heavy subject
yeah,
matter,
like,
though.
like Brothers taught me like at the end like he accepts his reservation life, rebonds with his family. The writer at the end abandons the rodeo life, bonds with his family. Nomadland doesn't bond with her family, embraces the nomad life. Eternals just sucks. I'm just kidding. It doesn't suck. I mean,
And Eternals, they get called to space.
yeah, they get all space.
Same thing.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the last thing. Oh, fucking Blade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Blade
Blade's
shows
there.
up at the end post credit
Yeah.
scene.
Mahershala
Although really though, like I don't
Ali.
even count that as being part of this movie because it feels so detached.
Yeah.
It's just like
Mahershala.
I-
really is just an end
Like,
tag.
why is it,
Mahershala Ali, you're above this
Wha-
shit, man.
why
Nah,
are
man,
you-
I want
He's
to see
such
him
a good
as Blade.
actor.
I want to see him as Blade.
I want to see Blade. I think he's fantastic.
I think he's fantastic. That's why I want to see him in, movies.
If anything, this will get him more roles.
I know. Well, he's fine.
Yeah.
Mahershala
No,
Ali can play any goddamn role he wants. I'll have you know.
He has 2 Academy Awards, but trust me, this will give him the money to do all the movies with no pay. You know what I mean? Yeah, because he still needs money at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm sure he's fine.
Like Daniel, that's why
I
Daniel
don't think
Day-Lewis.
he has trouble at auditions.
That's why Daniel Day-Lewis. Well, it's not even about him getting rolled, but like they gotta eat. They gotta,
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis going to be Mr. Fantastic?
Dude, Daniel Day. Honestly, that would be hilarious. I would love to see that.
That would be
love
so
to-
fucking funny if he comes
that's
out of
why he-
retirement to play.
That's why he gets paid
Fantastic.
like he's one of the few direct actors in indie films that get like $10 million for an indie film.
I can't even imagine how he would go meta with that. Like he's gonna build like a fucking like a cold fusion reactor or something.
Oh,
Like,
that would be funny. He watched like go back to college and then learn physics, which I think he would do. All right, let's get into rankings. All right, everyone's number one is the writer. Okay, but let's go with Ron. You first.
number 2, it's
Songs my brothers taught me, right?
It's
Just kidding.
I'll probably say, like, you know what? I'm gonna say Eternal.
What?
Wait, I know.
Whoa.
I'm just saying.
Whoa,
like,
shocker.
Yeah, favorite amongst the Chloe Zhao films. Like I said, I usually just rank them as like what movie I'm more likely to want to rewatch, and I want to watch Eternals. Like I came back and I was like, there are stuff I do want to see. So like, yeah, I'll say
So
Eternals.
writer,
Eternals.
songs my brothers taught me, Eternal, and then Nomadland.
The Writer, Eternals, and then Nomadland.
Oh, so wow, songs my brothers taught me is number 4.
Yeah,
I
even
see.
though I rank Nomadland is it's a better movie for sure, but like I'll say I actually like Eternals a little more.
What about you?
Writer's my number 1. My number 2 is Songs My Brother Taught Me. Number 3 is Nomadland, and number 4 is The Eternals.
For me, it's pretty similar. The first one was the writer. Number 2 is actually Nomadland. For me, I watched that I think I watched it like 3 times in theaters. It was like at first I didn't like it that much, but every time I watched it, there's like new different details I picked up on, different type of shots, and just like it has this weird Transformers spell effect on it. For me, it does. I think it's the writer is more though, but Songs My Brother Taught Me is number 3. As much as I like that, it was like it's very raw. And I tell like she's still building her blocks, and kind of what I say is like none of these films could be in the museum for me ever, like period, because it just takes. I have this thing about like it just takes way too much from Malik stuff, but without doing it super new, and even Wong Kar-wai. And number 4 is a bin. Number 5 is a bargain, and number 6 is Eternals. I just created extra 2 slots just to make sure Eternals is like super low on my thing. Even though I like Eternals, but it's kind of sour now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for listening for another episode of Half a Clue
Merry
Movie Review.
Christmas!
We'll see you guys next week where we will be discussing other films.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.